Today's guest is one of the biggest content creators in the world. He's an entrepreneur, a YouTube guru, and he has created more energy and excitement into the world of giving back than possibly anyone. He has a new show called Beast Games, where a record-breaking 1,000 people compete for the largest prize in entertainment history, $5 million. Grateful to finally catch up with the one and only Mr. Beast.
So is it already started? We going?
Yeah, we'll start right now, man.
Let's do it.
Mr. Beast, Jimmy, nice to see you today.
Likewise.
Bro, that's awesome, man. So Beast Games, that's the show.
Yeah. So before this, I was showing them episode 1 of a show I have coming out December 19th. What'd you think of it? We watched it and then he started talking and his team was like, hit the camera. Was like, wait.
Yeah.
Now I'm dying to know. What'd you think?
Oh, I thought a lot of things, man. First of all, I thought that you're this Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka kind of William Wallace of finances type of energy going on.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of that. Like, I never seen a show where couple minutes there's like another twist of possibility, right?
Yeah.
I kind of realized how many game shows are missing so many little elements in there where they could manipulate the situation more or create more of an environment for like competitors in the game to make choices that would affect them and others, you know?
Yeah, when like basically having layers and stuff like that. But the big thing is no one's ever set up like that many cameras before because it's a logistical nightmare. So it's hard to do these kinds of things normally unscripted because like, you know, we had unfathomable amounts of footage, like over 100 years of footage from that episode.
100 years of footage?
Yeah, because I mean, we had to have over 100 people work on it in post. So it's like to be able to do something at that scale, even just like to set up the cameras and edit and everything is, I mean, no one's ever done it before.
It's diabolical almost.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, you said there's a lot of world records that were broken in the shooting of this series.
Yeah, 40 Guinness World Records.
Wow.
Yeah, we have like so many plaques now that we have up on our wall. I'm basically making a wall out of Guinness plaques just from the show.
What are some of the records you guys broke?
Most contestants ever in a show, largest cash prize in a show, most cameras recording at once in a show, most people, which you saw.
Yeah.
And a show like most money given away in the first episode of a show, just like stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's the most people probably since 9/11, I would think.
Oh my gosh.
And we might have to take that out. Yeah, and I shouldn't have said that. I'll say something else. Yeah, I haven't seen that many people at the same time.
Wait, why was there a cut before you say what you're saying right now?
Huh? There's just, we needed something to
he had to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Just had to use I'd already soiled the conversation. That's the most people at once that I'd seen since since I was in the parking lot of a Widespread Panic concert, you know? But that was LSD. That kind of works a little.
Yeah, I think that's, honestly, you should keep the first one in.
Okay, well, there we go, dude.
You said it, not me.
That's a great point. You make the choices, man. Yeah, do you feel like this wizard? Like, because as I'm watching, I'm like, man, there's so many things. I'm like, where does the motivation come from? Is it to, like, do you get so much joy out of like having the manipulation of the situation? Is it giving away the money? Is it because there's so many moments in there where I'm like watching people's feelings change? Like, what is it for you that like, have you been able to figure out, because you've done so many of these types of competitions and opportunities for people, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is I feel like I'm motivated by a lot of things, and these kinds of game shows, it's fun to like create environments that have never been created for and just like, well, let's just see kind of what people do. Like a lot of that is just like mass behavioral psychology. Like if you offer someone money to eliminate other people, how much money would it take? You know? So it's kind of a little bit of that, but it's also, I just like making great content. And like, I like making things you can't find anywhere else. Cause it's just fun to like see how the world reacts to it.
Yeah.
You know? And so in this instance, or in a lot of what we do, like one time we just put a big circle on the ground. We put 100 people in it. And we just were like, whoever leaves last gets $500,000. And then it's just like, how long does it take? Who's going to leave? Like those are the kinds of things I like personally and just curious on, like what the fuck's going to happen, you know?
Yeah. What's like one thing you've learned then about people's psychology? Have you learned, or does it change a lot? Like, have you learned, like, are there some general rules you've learned that people will like behave around money or that sort of thing?
Oh yeah. That's an interesting question. I feel like people are a lot nicer than you would think. Like they're not as, they don't tend, and maybe it's because when we do it, they know the video is going to be seen by 100 million people. So they're thinking of their personal image. But a lot of times I have given people the opportunity to like screw other people over for some money. And usually they don't take it, or they like push, like it requires way more money than you would think. You know, like someone who'd theoretically be making $30,000 a year and you would offer them 10 grand, but it means this other person gets eliminated or gets, you know, punished in the challenge. And a lot of times like they'll say no, you know, and I'm like, whoa, that's not an easy decision to make. Like there's some integrity here, you know?
Yeah, you mentioned that while we were taping that you were surprised by some people's integrity.
Exactly. Especially during this show, like I sometimes throw large, copious sums of money to eliminate other people, to like offer it to certain people, and they say no. And I was always just like, what the fuck?
Wow.
This is crazy.
Is there one age group or gender group or any demographic you can give me on who it seems like after doing a lot of challenges where you've gotten to see some integrity?
No, it's pretty. This is 10 episodes. If we watched it all, you would see
10 episodes of that.
Yeah, you would see that it's like pretty widespread across the board. I mean, maybe the women.
I don't think a senior citizen can, but some seniors can't make it through that.
You saw that one 70-year-old, she passed, which is
she passed away.
No, passed the challenge.
Oh God!
I hope she doesn't pass away before the show airs. That'd be bad.
No, I don't think people. Some seniors, I don't know if I would let one of my grandparents watch this.
Yeah,
just the levels of
your heart beating.
There's a lot.
Yeah. That's what I was going for. What I really wanted is like, in my YouTube videos, sometimes people say they don't have enough emotion or they lack the storytelling or whatever. And part of it is like, it's just YouTube. When you go to like a streaming platform like Amazon Prime Video or Netflix, you're like sitting down to watch something usually for like hours, and you're to watch like this longer story and show. But when you go to YouTube, more than likely, like, you know, you're going there for a quicker hit. You're not sitting down expecting to watch a 10 episode series. Like you're just clicking on videos and watching. So content put up on YouTube is just different. It's like, you know, series don't do as well, and you know, and so it's much easier to build characters and feel emotion over these 10 episodes, 6 hours of content than it is in a 20-minute video, because you have like 10 minutes to build them up, but then you got to wind the story down because the video is going to end in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So my big thing here was like, I really wanted you to feel something, and I wanted to like flex those muscles and like actually build characters and like give emotion and things like that. You know, like when we were watching that, even though I've already seen it like 100 times already, I could feel my heart pounding.
Yeah.
I mean, or it might've been the Celsius I was drinking. I don't know, but like, I really could feel the emotion. That's what I want. Like when people watch the show, I want them to have very intense feelings.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I definitely did, man. And the interesting thing to me too, is like a lot of times with game shows and, it's the contestants that you start to get to know, right?
Yeah.
But with this, it's not the contestants. Like,
well, you will later on, but because there's 1,000 of them,
right?
First, I gotta, you know, lay down the hammer, axe, you know, 900 of them or whatever, and then we can build them up.
Ah, I see.
And I definitely learned why no one ever does stuff with 1,000, because that's the most contestants ever. It's a lot to like, just everything is, you know, 1,000 hotel rooms a night. You know what I mean? If the hotel room is $200, that's $200,000 a night in just hotel rooms, and you're feeding them, and even like every little thing is so expensive when you times it by 1,000.
Yeah.
And then like to record 1,000 people, you need 1,000 cameras. Just to buy 1,000 cameras is a bitch. And then to hook all the cameras up to the server, we need like 56 miles of cable to run it over there. And then you need like fucking 250 camera people to check in on them. And so it's like, I know why people don't do reality shows at this scale, because it's so fucking expensive. Like,
yeah, what was the total budget of this show?
I want to tell you, but can you just believe it so it doesn't make it in?
For sure.
Okay.
Can we believe it in some artistic way so it at least looks exciting?
No, just be like, what the fuck?
Or do this?
Sure, put that over my mouth. It was, we spent $.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I hope my mom's all right.
I didn't mean it. Don't cancel me.
No, I'm just trying to give some different. Trying to get some different reactions.
Put that in the intro.
Oh my God, bro. That you spent that much on this?
Yeah. Because it gets crazier. Like that first one, we built 1,000 towers. And those are real towers that have actual hydraulic press doors that have to be safety proof with giant foam and crash pad at the bottom with the light system, right? Because we're turning them red and green. And then we had to build custom software to connect it all where you press a button and the lights change. And then we had to rig, like I told you, 1,000 cameras in there to a giant control center. Like just that first episode alone was, I mean, crazy, man.
And do you have to take it all down at the end?
Yeah.
No.
So I don't own that building. Yeah. Because the problem is like we needed 6 massive hangars. So like we basically in Canada, there's like these 6 giant airport hangars. And we were just like, hey, can we use those and converted them all to these big sets? And then right outside is a field. And that's where we built that city, which was also, so I have in this field at one point, I have like 800 people working over here, just building a city in the middle of a field. And I've got like 600 construction people in these 6 hangars, just building these other sets. And then I have all these, I mean, at some points we had like over 2,000 people on set just in this town in Canada. So it was crazy.
And were you employing just a lot of locals? I mean, you would set up, you would put out the employment opportunities in advance?
Yeah, we worked with 2 different unions, and then we hired a bunch of people locally and things like that. So yeah, it created a lot of jobs locally there.
And where does your joy come from? Like, because you've given away a lot of money, right? Yeah. And you give away a lot of joy while I'm watching. Like, there's something also there's moments in there as I'm watching. I'm like, oh, what would I do in that instance, right? That comes into my head, and then you see the reactions if somebody screws somebody over, and you see the reaction if somebody gets screwed over, and you kind of think like, okay, well, what feeling would I want to have, you know? And then like in the moment, you're like, oh yeah, I would definitely take the money. But then right now, looking back, when I start to even think about some of those moments, I'd be like, man, it must have been really tough to leave and have those people feel. And so maybe I wouldn't have, right? It's interesting just as a viewer, all the little moments that I kind of navigate and then kind of learn about myself. But what do you get like you give away so much money, do you feel like you're like making up for something in a past life? Or like, is there something that, like, you didn't grow up with a lot of money, you know?
No.
And so do you, like, when you think back on little moments, like, did you see somebody give some money once and it made you feel excited? Or like, are you able to connect any of those dots as you get a little bit older and have some more breadth of time?
You know, that's where I should come up with this, you know, heart-throbbing story of like, I just want to, you know, help people because I couldn't when I was younger or whatever. But the honest truth is like, I know how to make content go viral. We're really good at making good content. And I just believe a world where I help people is just more fun than a world where I don't. And that's kind of really it. I've noticed where, you know, videos where we do help people or give away money, I tend to just be a little happier, enjoy it a little bit more. And so I just lean more that way.
That's cool.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I could one time, for fun, because like everyone has these like PR publicists and PR people. I just talked to one. I was like, what advice would you have for me? And they're like, you need to come up with a better story on why you help people. And I was like, well, because this is what I usually say. It's like, well, the truth is it just is slightly more fun than when I don't. And they're like, no, you need to come up with a better one. Like, you know, like you were saying, like, you know, say like you helped a homeless person, it brought you immense joy and all this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, that feels kind of fake. Yeah. So yeah,
sometimes that's just the truth.
It is.
And it's a very simple truth. Yeah, I like helping somebody out.
It's just more fun than if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's scary to think that though. Like recently I was giving some money to some people that had been suffered from a storm, right? Mm-hmm. From some flooding. And I'm not saying that to make myself look exciting or anything, but it was nothing like this. And if they see that and then hear what I get, they're like, oh, this guy's.
Well, I mean, this is just our reality show. But yeah, in general, I don't know if you've watched too many of our videos, but we built 100 wells in Africa.
I know. You've helped you guys have given blind stuff. You've taken plastics out of the ocean.
Yeah. But the wells stuff, that one was interesting or really eye-opening for me because we were one of them, like we went like 4 hours into the middle of nowhere and you're like, you know, in places where these people don't have internet, like really intense poverty. And it's like, it's pretty eye-opening. I would recommend if anyone ever has an opportunity to like just work on a project or do something in places like that, it's like crazy to think that we're on the same planet, you know what I mean? And people who like don't even have access to clean water and have to walk an hour every morning to go to a river to get water. But then you look upstream and there's literally cows shitting in that same water that they're, you know, drinking out of because that's the world they live in. And like we have anyways, I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
look, no, I think putting things into perspective, right, changes things for people.
Exactly.
Were you did you have to like kind of achieve a certain amount of finances before you were able to start giving away finances, kind of?
No, I've always like my first brand deal was $10,000 and I just walked outside and gave it to a homeless person.
Wow.
So I've just always done it because it's just like, if I do this, then hopefully this video makes $15,000 and then I'll give away $15,000.
Right.
And then hopefully that video makes $20,000 and I'll give away 20. And so I just had that idea of where I was like, what if I just give away the money and then it makes more money and I give that away? And then I've just kind of been doing that for like 8 years.
And now you're at $5 million, which is the largest amount that has ever been given away in a game show.
Or in a reality show, in any show, really. No one's ever given away. I think Squid Game was the most of 4,560,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you want to beat that kind of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the number is 5 million.
Yeah.
But we also gave away like, another 15 plus million on top of that just throughout the show.
No, I love it because you hear so many companies that just like it's about their bottom, and it's like this is like the opposite of that. It's like let's do something good.
Yeah.
And let's make a bunch of money, but then let's give it away.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of like all the other treacherous type of capitalism that you hear about,
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because now that I've done like a streaming show or whatever, it's like a lot of these shows, their cash prize is like $250,000, $500,000. It's like, I wonder why they don't give away more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'll watch this whole, 10 episode show just to see who wins $250K. And it's like in the first 3 minutes of our show, we gave away $1 million.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, this is, yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how people react to it because but anyways.
No, you're going to make other, yeah. Dude, we had a dude, he would give you $10 to look at his butt, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, when I was when I was younger than I am now, for sure. He was a child. I don't want to say a child, but you just pretend I was a child, right? Because I was. And this guy would give you $10 to look at his butt, right? Not up close, far away, But it was like, so yeah, that guy could have given us a lot more.
Do you need to file a police report?
I have no idea, dude. But I'm just saying, it's like everybody has a game show, and you're like, yeah, people, these prizes are cheap, That's what it was, kind of what I was getting at. Anyway, we can take that
So
part
you were
out.
on a game show and a guy gave you $10 to look at his butt.
We had a dude in our area, I'll be honest with you, he'd give you $10, he'd walk off a little bit, he'd kind of spread his butt a little bit, and you had to kind of go like that at him, and you got the money,
Okay.
So, but it wasn't close up, and it wasn't even super invasive. It was like, I get it's
How old were you at the time?
I was old enough to be like, hey, this guy's kind of a crazy guy, but he's also cheap, So probably 13, 12, 11, probably,
gosh.
But anyway.
Are you sure you don't want to file a police report?
You're right, dude.
You
Sorry.
sure you don't want to take care of that?
I don't
He's
know.
not currently still offering 12-year-olds $10 to look at his butt because we might want to put an end to that.
Yeah, you're right, actually. And maybe that's the type of game we can go to do next, is trapping guys like that, $12 butt games. That's different. Anyway, I shouldn't have said anything like that. Just so our viewers know, right? I know you have the largest YouTube channel that exists, the most that they can have on there. You have more subscribers than I think people in America.
I haven't thought of that, but
What's
yeah,
the population of America?
I think-
Sorry to cut you off, Jimmy.
like 300 million, right?
Almost 4.
Oh, it's almost 4.
Is it?
Let's see, American population, 334. Oh yeah, we're about the same. We're at 330. Yeah, so we're tied with America. Yeah, I guess it's. It's crazy, man. Like 8 years ago, I was in high school. So it's kind of funny when I think about it, because 8 years ago, I'm raising my hand to ask to use the bathroom. And then, I guess now we have the same subscribers as America.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's a difference.
wild how it happens. It's a lot, man. You know what's interesting? Because you're talking about like our large subscriber count is it's like when I had like 10 million subscribers, I was like, I thought this is fame. Like this is, like I would go into Walmart and I don't know, maybe one person would ask for a photo and it was like, this is fucking cool. This is what it's like. But there's just like such a big difference where, and this is gonna sound obvious, but where I'm at now than when I had like 10 million subscribers or where I was like 4 years ago. And it keeps getting crazier every year and every year. Like people will follow my car to like, if I'm out and they see me, they'll like try to stalk me so they can see where I live. Like, wow. That's like, that kind of stuff didn't happen 4 years ago. Or almost anything I do ends up on the internet, right? Like one time I was like at a drive. Every time I go to a drive-thru, it's like flipping a coin on whether or not someone's gonna go MrBeast, and then all the people in the back are gonna run to the window, and it's gonna be this thing that's kind of intense, or if it's just like a really, really old person. And I'm like always super happy when like I pull up to a drive-thru and it sounds like they're 50 because I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if they sound like they're in their 20s or 30s, it's brutal, because then it's like one time someone did that. They opened it. She was like, "You're MrBeast." I was like, "Yeah." And she goes to whip out her phone. I was like, "Hey, I don't want people to know when I'm driving. Like, we could chat, but just please no photos, because then if it goes viral, I'm gonna have to sell this car, and like it's just a lot of work."
God.
And she's like, "Okay." And then she goes to get the food, and she comes back, and I see just 10 other people that work, I won't even say the restaurant, but behind her coming up with their phones recording. I was like, I thought I could trust you. And I had to drive off before they handed me my food, because I was like, if I don't, they're going to start filming. People will see the car drive, blah, blah. And then it's funny, like the next day I see on Reddit, MrBeast is an asshole, just drove off.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you forgot to tell the part where I was like, hey, please don't dox my car.
Yeah.
Just immediately leaves that whole thing out. And so there's a lot of that. Like, or another time I was at a restaurant. I don't even know who I was with, but someone paid for my food. And I was like, when I asked for the bill, they're like, "Oh, someone paid for it." They're like, told me to tell you they like your videos. I was like, "Cool. How do I tip?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we don't have a bill." And I was like, "Okay." So I just laughed. And then the next day I see on the internet, MrBeast stiffed me and didn't leave a tip or whatever. And it's like, someone paid for my meal. I didn't get a bill. It's not like I carry cash.
Yeah.
So, and I was just, so I have so many instances like that where like no one gives a fuck when you're smaller about all these little things. But like, as I've gotten bigger, yeah, it's just like every interaction, it's like a 10% chance this thing's gonna end up on the internet, or they're gonna try to twist things or whatever. And it's just gotten crazier. Like people, like I said, follow me or yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and you get to a point also with popularity where you've also gone, you can't go back.
Yeah.
First of all, you can't unbeast yourself.
Well, I can unbeast myself. If I wear a beanie, I've noticed, like I've tried all sorts of outfits when I fly to see which ones get rid. If I put my bangs in a beanie and put that on, because I've never worn anything like that in my videos, the amount of photos I take go down like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, and then if I combo the beanie with like a pair of glasses, because I also have never worn glasses in my videos, it takes it down. So I've like studied it.
Okay.
Because like I used to just rock a hood, but that's kind of like suspicious. It's like, especially in places where it's not cold, people are like,
guy looks like a bank robber, but he's at United Airlines.
It actually makes them like double look, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" So the hood strat doesn't work, but the beanie and glasses strat, that's the key.
Yeah,
if you want to be like low key.
Yeah, no, I think there's different ways to do different little disguises. I do think it's interesting what you're saying though, like about like I would notice. This is just for me, but I would notice like someone would pay for my food sometime at a restaurant. Yeah. But then I would read like, oh, he didn't thank us for it, right? Like, so really they were paying for it, so I would like engage with them, right? Yeah. Which is, it's okay, but it's like at some point it's like maybe I'm doing with friends.
I'd rather just pay for the food.
Yeah, I'd rather just pay for my food. I didn't know that there was this other exchange to it, right? Yeah. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy for the extra food. But if I'm in a hurry or something and now I'm in a different spot and now I'm in a conversation where somebody also then wants to ask you about a business thing or something, it's like,
there's no rule book for these kinds of things.
Right. There's no rule book for it.
So you kind of have to like learn on the go, like, what do I do when random people pay for my food? Oh, I guess this is the random people paid for my food etiquette. Yeah. I have to stand there and demand a bill from the waitress 5 times until they give it so I can tip. I then have to walk around the restaurant and find who paid for it and thank them. It's like, these are the things that you just kind of have to learn as you get more famous. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just interesting, Yeah. And people will be like, oh, famous people complaining, but it's like, but if popularity is a blessing and a curse, and sometimes it's a side effect of what you even wanted to do, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's also ways to like little things to navigate amongst it. This episode is sponsored by BAM, PrizePicks, baby. Do you love firing on sports? Do you love it? I do. Well, PrizePicks is the best daily fantasy sports app for you. You can sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's it. It's simple. You can fire on all your favorite sports like the NBA, NFL, UFC, and many more. Instead of choosing teams, what I love about PrizePicks is that you choose individual players. A player? Each player has a set projection, and you either choose more or less than that set projection. PrizePicks also has a brand new feature called Live Squares, available now. Live Squares allows you to pick a player's full game projection after their time has started, so you can get in the game. The projection changes based on the player's live progress. Look for the red dot indicating a game is in progress. If you are smart with sports and you know what players are going to perform on what nights, PrizePicks is the best app for you. I enjoy it. If you can gamble responsibly, PrizePicks is it. First-time users download the PrizePicks app, use code Theo, and PrizePicks will instantly give you $50 on your first lineup of $5 or more. No strings attached. Put in $5 and instantly get a free $50. And make sure this is something that you are able to use responsibly. If not, then it's not for you. But if so, then PrizePicks is the best app for you. This episode is sponsored by Kraken, the #1 ranked crypto platform by Forbes in November 2024. That's the kind of crack I like. Bitcoin's been on a tear lately, and if you've been thinking about getting some of that digital gold, Kraken is the place to be. Look, you don't have to be some kind of tech wizard or some fancy Nancy to use Kraken. Signing up is quick and free, and their app is so easy to use, even your Uncle Terry could figure it out after a couple of cold boys. You can also set up your own personal watch list of crypto charts to keep tabs on the price of Bitcoin and over 190 other cryptos. Hold up, let me check the Bitcoin price on Kraken real quick. Dang, she's ripping. Everybody's asking where to buy crypto, and the answer is simple. Get Kraken, Kraken. Head to kraken.com/Theo. That's www.kraken.com/THEO and sign up now. That's kraken.com/Theo. Disclaimer, not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine, through Payward Interactive Incorporated. See kraken.com, legal-ca-pru-disclaimer for info on Kraken's undertaking to register in Canada. Let's be honest, what most people want for the holidays is to see their loved ones. That's what we want most of the time. We want to see our loved ones. I want to see even a picture of them, if that's all. That's why this year the best gift you can give, besides plane tickets, is an Aura digital picture frame. Named the #1 digital picture frame by Wirecutter, Aura frames are incredibly smart and easy to use, allowing you to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. Plus, you can order the frame online and preload it with photos and videos using the Aura app, A-U-R-A app. So it's ready to go right out of the box. Yep. I know I've got one for my family member. Somebody's getting one. And if they like it, then I'll see about maybe if we get them all. Then everybody can upload different things and we'll have a beautiful just variety of things going on there. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off best-selling Carver mat frames by using promo code Theo at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code THEO. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. How did you become, just so our listeners know, how did you become MrBeast, you know?
Yeah.
Was there at a point where you were just a beast, and was there?
Yeah. So when I was probably 13 or 11, Xbox Live, I just was randomizing the name and it gave me like the name MrBeast 6000. And so that was just like my Xbox gamer tag when I was playing Call of Duty.
So they gave you, did they ever come after you and try to claim any title to it?
Well, no, because it's just like a random name generator. They don't own it. But then, so then when I started a YouTube channel, I just called it MrBeast 6000. Yeah. And then, everyone was just like, why the 6,000? I was like, I don't know. And then I eventually just dropped it. And there's MrBeast. So that's kind of how it came about. But in terms of how I got where I am now, I started making videos when I was 11. Had no fucking clue what I was doing. They were absolute trash. And then no one watched them when I was 11. No one watched them when I was 12. No one watched them when I was 13. No one watched them when I was 14. No one watched them when I was 15. And then I started to get like, holy fuck, is anyone ever going to watch these? I'm like 4 years in. I'm like having depressive mental breakdowns because I'm pouring everything I have. But I mean, at the time, obviously everyone thinks the videos I make are great. And I thought I was making like insanely great videos, but they're just trash. And like the problem is that I didn't have anyone to teach me how to edit. So I'm like learning on my own. I didn't know anything about cameras, didn't know anything about anything. And then 16, no one's watching them. 17's no one watching them. And I'm like, fuck, my whole life, I was just like, I just want to do YouTube. I need to make enough money by the time I graduate high school so I can do this or I'm fucked. Cause like I didn't have good grades or anything. And, we didn't have much money because my parents were over leveraged in 2008. They're in the army, bought some properties, 2008. And then the recession or financial crisis hit, went bankrupt, lost everything. So like my mom was also like, fuck, my son's just going to be
fuck,
homeless.
Can we get back in there? Jimmy?
Yeah. Like just going to be homeless. And she hates it. And so I finally 18, about to graduate high school. Still no one watches the videos. No one gives a fuck. I'm making
not even on graduation night.
Yeah, I remember it's just like my mom's like, all right, it's time to accept reality. Got to go to community college, got to get a degree. And I was just like, I didn't want to, but I was like, okay, let me just pick the easiest, lamest fucking degree. I think it was like some communications degree at my local community college.
Zoning is one of them.
But then 2 weeks into it, I just was like, fuck this shit. And so every day, because I didn't have enough money to move out, I just go to college, but then I would just work on videos in my car. And I was just like, okay, in 6 months, my mom's going to find out that I have straight zeros, kick me out of the house. I got to get it where people are watching my videos enough where I can like live off of it over the next 6 months. And then I just started doing a bunch of stupid stuff. Like around this time is when I counted to 100,000.
Yeah, it's so classic.
And a lot of other things like that. And
watching somebody semi-unconscious count their way through like the 80,000s is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. Well, there was one part I think at 93,000 where I was like 92,999, 91,000. I actually went backwards. I didn't realize it, and then I just went 91,001, 91,002. So I like it was because I was so just out of it at that point.
Yeah, there are moments in that where you're like, yeah, somebody help this guy or something,
But anyways, so around that point, I had a month where I made 20 grand, and then I was like, Mom, I have straight zeros. I'll move out tomorrow, and then I just moved out. Then we just kept reinvesting it all, and here we are. So it's like a 15-year journey, and it's been pretty crazy.
Was it hard to learn to reinvest in yourself? Is that like a I know you kind of mentioned a minute ago. Was that like a thing? Is it hard to learn to reinvest?
No, for me, it always came natural because like I have now it's a little bit crazier because we're traveling and everything. But back then, I lived in a place that was $720 a month and I split it with someone. So I needed $360 for rent. And I had like a 2005 Dodge Durango, which wasn't that expensive. So it was like, okay, $1,000 to cover my expenses. Everything else just pour back in. You know what I mean? So if you just live like below your means, then like it allows you just to go crazy and throw everything back into it. And I just was like a fucking machine back then that lived to make the best videos possible. And so every dollar was just a way to just make a better video. Wow.
So you want to make the best video. There's something about it that you want to make the best video.
Yeah, well, I've obviously studied the algorithm, studied the tens of thousands of YouTube videos. I'm a data nerd. And what's interesting is the data always just shows that the better a video is, the more views it gets. It's like if people watch it and enjoy it, YouTube gives it more views. So it's like, yeah, it's the better that's what took us from 100,000 views a video to 1 million to 10 million views a video to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100. It's just, people notice when you put in the effort and go above and beyond, so they just keep coming back.
Yeah, I mean watching. I mean, I know this will be on Amazon, right?
Yeah, Prime Video, the Beast Games thing. Yeah,
but watching some of your stuff, it's just like, man, this is like fantastical. It's like fantasy. There's fantasy parts of it. What was one you guys just put up about? You went out into these like this cave and
7 days in the underground cave.
Was it a real cave or not a real cave?
So we did 7 days in a cave and 7 days in underground city. Which one are you talking
Underground
about?
City.
That's in Romania. That was crazy.
It was so great because it's like it's mixes like past and present. It's like it's like, are we the Mayans or the aliens here? There's this mix of like, where is this a real city? Is it not? It looks brand new, but then it also has these.
Well, and the Romans used to mine salt out of there. I think it was like something crazy, like 2 billion pounds of salt have been mined there, or something ridiculous. Yeah, so it's been used for over 1,000 years, and then they built a little underground city there, and there's a Ferris wheel and everything. It's so mind blowing that like how
there's a real Ferris wheel there.
Yeah, in that underground city.
Yeah, that's a part. That's one. It's just like I can't tell sometimes when it's new or old, or it's like it's fantastical. You know, that's what it feels like to me. It felt like, dang, this is dang fantasy. You know. So you're a Mr. Beast. Is there a Mrs. Beast? Do they have a Mrs. Beast?
I mean, I have a girlfriend, but you know,
I didn't know.
I just call her Tia.
Okay, so you just call her by her natural name or whatever God-given name. Do you remember your first girlfriend ever or no?
Yeah, but you know, I love my current girlfriend.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's what I was just. Or yeah, I was just thinking like, were you good at having like, was there ever a girl that you even had a crush on in your neighborhood or anything when you were a kid? You don't have to say her name.
No, it's bro. When when I was growing up, I was I still am, but I was incredibly awkward. I had a lot of pimples when I was a teenager.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like I have scars on my forehead from it. I was an acneed up freak that just obsessed over YouTube. I didn't know how to talk to a woman. Like if they were like, hi, I'd probably just be like, what are you? You know? So it was fuck no. I mean, but it kind of worked to my advantage a little bit because that's why I just grinded so much from 11 to 18, which most people probably would have been trying to talk to girls or,
that'll kill all your time.
Exactly. Whereas I was just like playing baseball and grinding on YouTube every second of the day. So it worked out in my advantage. Do you know Accutane?
Yeah, Accutane, it didn't kill Jessica Simpson. What happened to her? And that wasn't her, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know. It might have killed someone. I mean, it's a pretty intense thing, but I took Accutane and it just got rid of all my acne.
Oh, it helped?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And actually, I was one Call of Duty YouTuber I watched when I was younger. He just said that he started taking Accutane and all his acne went away. And I was like, okay. So I asked my dermatologist and I took it and then all my acne went away as well. And I was like, holy shit, but I didn't take it till I was like 19 or 20. And I was like, my God, why didn't someone tell me about this?
Anybody tell you?
Yeah. When I was 15 or 16. And it's probably for the better because it's pretty intense, but it like dries your skin out like crazy. And it gets to the point where your skin will get like, it shrinks your pores too. So like the blackheads on your nose will literally come out on their own. And like, you'll like wake up one day and you'll just have like all this stuff. Like if you squeeze blackheads, they'll just be sitting on top of your nose. It's like a miracle.
Like when people put that worm rod in the ground, you ever seen that when they electrocute the ground to get the worms out of it?
Basically like that. Yeah. And this is a crazy thing. So anyways, I'm saying this because if there's any of you out there in the same spot as me, Accutane changed my life. I hope to be like that Call of Duty YouTuber was to me when I was younger to you. It was wild.
Some dude on Call of Duty is like, hey, get some Accutane.
Yeah, he would just do it like a story time and talk about how he fixed his acne. And I was just like, oh, it changed my life.
Dude, we had to get this blotter. They had something, there was this, finally I got a prescription because mine was bad too, dude. Like, and I was afraid to smile because sometimes you would have that hard patch and it would just be like, it would be like a gang of acne, like MS Thirtacne or whatever.
Bro,
it was like
I know
in
it
your
too
face.
well. That was my fucking forehead for years.
Yeah, and you would smile and it would fucking just squirt on somebody. It was almost like you were afraid to make certain faces because a couple of them would go off. You know, it was like, you know, like
I don't know if mine was that intense.
I had, and if you get them like in here in the corners of my nose, it was so scary. Yeah. And I already have a big nose, so if I get a pimple on it, I'd have to stay home until it went away or whatever.
Yeah.
God, dude, yeah, acne was crazy because you didn't do anything, right? You've been at home, you're just growing up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then God's like, oh yeah, you little bastard.
I know. It's like you see these people who don't wash their face and they just have perfect, flawless skin. And then you're over here doing everything you can and you got, 100 blackheads on your nose and probably 40 pimples on your face. And it's just like, why am I being punished?
Yeah.
Why me?
and we had this blotter stuff. It was like this green stuff came out at one point. So you have to put it all. It had like a blotter, almost like a for playing bingo.
Yeah.
And you'd put it all over your skin, but it had green. It was green, right? It was kind of green, and you couldn't tell right when you put it on. But if you were at school and you had a white shirt or something, your whole shirt of your neck would start just getting green throughout the day because you'd sweat it down. It was harrowing.
How
bro.
old are you?
I was probably 11, 12.
Me growing up, we had Proactive or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
didn't
people
have
used.
it.
I don't remember this green shit you're talking about.
We had prayer and some other shit that they had. Yeah, meeting the first girl was, I remember in our apartment complex, some dad, I remember, this is the first girl that I maybe had a crush on or something. the dad got a daughter a drum, right, for Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
And he would make her play like on the back porch. He would practice. And I would go around and listen. And she would play, what's that Ice Cube song? It's like,
It was a good day.
bum, 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 bum.
Mhm.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Kind of thank God. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. No bark, no bum, 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 bum.
Love
She would
that
play
song.
that, dude. And I would just go down there and I just fell in love listening to her play that.
Yeah.
And I remember that. It was like the
And
first.
what happened between you guys?
Oh, nothing. There was some violence between our families a little bit. My brother had some issues, I think, with her brother, but but that was like the first crush. It was
What
like
kind of violence?
somebody like got upset at somebody and somebody threw like a stump or whatever through somebody's bathroom window. It got they really got hot sometimes, dude. But between me and her, she didn't know that. I don't think she ever knew that, but
Well, now
I would
she
listen
does.
to her play that. And the dad would yell at her to fucking play it. He was, I think, a Raiders fan or whatever. Anyway, sorry, kind of rambling. You just got back from India, right?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. How was that?
Have you ever done shows or anything in India?
I went to India when I was a student. We went to Madras and we worked at like a children's home. It was like it was just a week, but it was magnificent, man.
Yeah.
Some of the most beautiful, energetic humans in the world, you know, like
Yeah.
a lot of happiness I felt like over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed it. What was your experience like?
Yeah, I enjoyed being there as well. Well, it was pretty intense. Not gonna lie, it got off to like I literally as I'm walking out of the airport, there was just a bunch of people there waiting. You know,
Right.
So I took some photos, said hi to people, whatever, got in my car, and then that video that someone filmed got posted on like this big, like I guess celebrities are like a really big thing, like Bollywood stars in India. And so like they posted on this Instagram account and it got like 20 million views in like the next 10 hours. So basically, like everyone knew I was in India after that, which we also said we were coming because we were going to like, you know, talk on a stage because I was launching a product and things like that. But it got pretty intense because people were trying to find which hotel I was in and they were like camping out at all the hotels. And so like, I'm like, as we're pulling in, like with my seat really reclined because I didn't want to know. And somehow they figured out which one we're staying at. And then there's people waiting out there and it got pretty crazy. And then we just like launched our chocolate bar at a mall.
It was a Feastable over there?
Yeah, Feastables, we launched it over there. And there was like, I mean, it was crazy. The amount of people that showed up. We were just talking on stage and whatever. But the problem is so many people are showing up there that they like people were going on in places in the mall where they weren't supposed to, getting in locked doors, and the line and crowd was getting so big they made us end it early and leave, which was annoying because like I felt bad because so many people showed up and I just wanted to at least like wave and say hi to a lot of them. And then I met a lot of the biggest Indian creators over there and super cool, filmed some stuff. And
Wow.
yeah, what was also interesting is we did this meet and greet with a bunch of Bollywood actors, like their kids, and just said hi to them. And I've just never watched any Bollywood films. So I was just, you know, hanging out, saying hi to some of these people. And like I took a photo with this kid and one parent. And then one of the guys beside me who just works there was like, hey, do you know who that guy is? It's this. And he showed me like an Instagram account. He had like 60 million followers. I was like, no. He's like, oh, that was the guy I just met. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, cool. And then I took a photo and said hi to another kid with his mom. And he's like, the guy was like, she's like in these movies and like this. And he was like freaking out. And I was like, and I didn't know who any of these
Right, you
people
just don't
were.
know, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, now I need you to tell me who they are before they walk up. And so he'd like, it's just this random guy I just met. And he's just like, okay, here's this person's Instagram account. It'd be like 30 million followers. Like apparently there's like twice as many people use Instagram in India than in USA. So I didn't know any of this, but like
It's
a really
huge.
big,
You forget about that. Just how many people there are.
yeah, and TikTok's banned in India, so that makes more people use Instagram, and so it's like really, really big over there. Because it was crazy. There's so many people that I met that just had crazy high follower accounts, and it's like you don't see that over here in America. And then I looked into the data because I'm a data guy, and I was like, oh my gosh, like a fuckload of people use it over there, and the usage skyrocketed after they banned TikTok. And same thing with YouTube, actually. Like India, more people watch YouTube in India than in America, because again, Like in America, we're competing against TikTok over there. They're not. And then the fact that there's over 1 billion people. So it's like
so YouTube is bigger over there too then.
Yeah, YouTube's bigger over there. So it's like a huge market. But no, I had a great time. And it was pretty intense though. Like I posted an Instagram story showing us driving down the road, and they're just everywhere we drove, there's just dozens of kids that would just run along the side of the road and follow our car. And
Just
things
excited,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. And so it was, I felt love. Yeah. I felt very loved. That's for sure. I was like, damn, people over here, they care. And it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of good energy over there. And it's safe
Agreed.
energy too. So the excitement, I feel like in a place like India, you don't feel like it's going to get to a place. Was it getting shady, you think?
Not like that I thought people would stab me, but how do I say it in a way where it doesn't sound like I'm being a diva? They were a little less concerned for personal space over there. They're like more, they'll run up to you and get like really
billions
close.
of people. It's not a lot of personal space.
Yeah,
over
they're
like,
like,
you don't get your own pillow.
Like in
India.
America, people dab you up, like a group of 5 or 6 people, and they'll stay a foot or two away, but over there, like they'll just run up and hug me and like get really, really close, and it gets a little intense sometimes. Like I noticed like some of them did not give a fuck about my personal space, especially if it was a bigger group.
Oh, they'll hide in your mouth if you leave it open.
Yeah,
over
I know.
there, dude.
So that was an interesting thing.
I remember people were sleeping on the side of the road there. I remember in India when I was there, you would just be driving at night and people just, somebody was just walking and I guess they decided to get some rest or whatever. But yeah, you don't even get your own pillow in India. Like you lay down and then there's other, people have little quad. It's just, there's a lot of people there.
There is,
There's a lot of folks. You were talking about Feastables, dude, and thank you guys sent me some, I'll go the whole day. I don't need any sugar. Middle of the night, crack open a box of Feastables that some asshole sent me. And,
I'm that asshole.
Yeah. And they're awesome.
Thank you.
And the peanut butter one is probably my favorite one.
Thank you.
But then it's like I just have so much, I freak out in the middle of the night, and because I'm just a damn sugar pervert. And then now I just can't go back to bed, But thank you.
Yeah.
And but what I want to say is, would you ever do like a Willy Wonka type of thing? Because I feel like this. I mean, you already are kind of there,
Yeah. So we put 10 golden tickets in it one time.
No,
right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
No, it's all good. So it's funny you asked. So yeah, that's a great idea. It's almost like we should put 10 golden tickets in random bars. Mm-hmm. I should build a chocolate factory, fly them down and have them compete for it.
Did you already do all that?
Yeah. But hey, it was pretty cool. This was years ago. Most of your fans probably have no idea I did it. So yeah, we put the golden tickets out.
So you're way past that.
I built an actual chocolate river. And you know what's funny? I don't even know if I've ever told this story, but it's the day before we're going to film, the 10 golden ticket winners are in town. And I go to the chocolate factory to just, check out things. And the chocolate river is just not there. Like we literally had like a multiple feet deep spread across this warehouse, chocolate river. And it's like there, but then I come back the next day and it's just not there. Like it's literally empty. The entire
river's
gone. What had happened,
you think?
We don't know. I mean, I guess there was like a hole in the lining on the bottom of the river we built, and it just all sank through it. I don't know. But see that chocolate river right there.
Oh my God, bro, I did not know this at all.
Yeah, pause it right there.
And who's that the guy that took it?
No, that's Nolan, one of our friends. And then every time someone got eliminated, they got in the boat, we paddled them down the chocolate river out the factory. But so it's like the day before, and I just walk in and there's like a waterfall and everything, but it's just empty. And I'm like, where the fuck did my chocolate river go last night? And so we had to blitz to refill it and redo the entire thing. It was a fucking shit show. Just search up MrBeast Chocolate Factory and you can see he can see what it actually looks like on YouTube.
I'm sorry, I'm so behind on that.
No, it's all good. I mean, I have so many crazy stories I could tell you about the fucking crazy shit we've done. Like, who else has built a fucking chocolate factory?
Yeah, I didn't even know. Wow,
skip ahead to the inside. Yeah, right there. Look at that shit. And candy and everything. Yeah, pause it.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are real candy. I mean, it was fucking difficult to keep the bugs out of there.
Oh yeah, you don't think about that. Bugs like candy.
Yeah, and so we gave the winner the option of keep the factory or just have $500,000. And I was like, this chocolate river is probably going to disappear. It tends to do that. These candies are all going to go bad in the next few days. This is going to be an absolute disaster.
Take the money.
I'd recommend you take the money. I'll give it to you. I mean, I'm not, I will, but it's going to cost you 6 figures to clean this shit up. I don't want to just dump that on you,
Was that Bobby Flay in that too?
At the end is Gordon Ramsay. So the last challenge they did is they had to cook a dessert, and then whoever Gordon Ramsay said did the best won the chocolate factory.
Oh, wow. And he looks a little bit like Charlie from the original Chocolate Factory. Pull up a Charlie from the original Chocolate Factory photo there. Let's do a little side by
Compare
side.
Gordon Ramsay to him.
And I'm going to be so accurate here, which blew my own mind, actually.
Yeah, actually, Carl, the guy to the right of Gordon, kind of looks like
Let's go.
him.
Hold on. No,
Yeah.
no. The picture I want is up one. Wait, no. Down, scroll. Yeah. No, right there to the left. Left on that side, right there.
Yeah, Carl kind of looks like that.
So pretty close, huh?
Yeah.
Your imagination. Pretty close right there.
Holy shit.
That could be him.
What is that shirtless photo of Gordon? Wait. No, go to that shirtless one. What am I looking at there?
Whoa.
When did he start posing like that?
I don't know,
My
dude.
boy.
That's one vote for Bobby Kennedy right there, dude. That's crazy, bro. Bobby Flay. Bobby Flay's daughter is beautiful, actually. And I don't care if she hears it. She's super talented. That's exactly what I mean. She's also a stunning young lady. But what are we saying? No, I got more to say. I'll tell you this. Yeah, so you already did that, man.
Yeah, and what's also interesting is while we were filming that video, I was doing a different video where I didn't eat any food for 2 weeks. What's the longest fast you've ever done?
I just did 3 days the other day of only water. And or I did 72 hours. It was good. Got a little temperamental.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoyed it. And how long do you do?
I did 14 days, only water.
Only water.
Yeah, I lost, what was it, like 20 something pounds.
Was it to lose weight or just to?
It's for a video just to see what happens. And you'd like, after like day 5 or 6, like you're pretty fucking drained. Like you have no energy. You know, what's interesting, if you read online about extended fast, people will be like, you'll lose minimal muscle mass and it's mostly fat. And which seemed like a lot of Reddit threads and things when you first Google it, that's what it tells you. So I did a DEXA scan before I did my extended fast, where they measure the fat and muscle in your body, and did one after. And it was like, I lost like 6 pounds of muscle. It was like pretty depressing how much muscle I lost.
Yeah, you lose it.
Yeah, which I mean is obvious, but that's not what the internet said would happen. Which I was like, someone needs to like correct this because it was pretty depressing. So I lost whatever it was, like 13 pounds of fat, 7 pounds of lean mass. But
it's depressing because in your show, you start to, and you don't want to explain to people, hey, I'm fasting, because people think something's going on with you.
Yeah, but even after you start eating, like the muscle didn't just come back.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that was pretty brutal, but it was intense not eating. I still was filming and working throughout it. So like on day 10 and 11 and 12, like it was really fucking with me. Like I standing up was just like brutal, and like walking around or anything like that, because you have no energy.
You needed a real cane like Willy Wonka had.
That was intense. And
did you notice like, but your clarity got pretty sharp as a whip. Were you able to use that?
People say that, but no, for me, it never hit. I never got that like, a superhuman clarity, because that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
No, I was just fucking tired, man, all the time. I was too tired to have clarity.
I could read people's damn minds.
I thought that guy was naked at first on the right.
Former All-Pro NFL tackle Russell Okung is also over 150 pounds since retiring, including losing 100 pounds in 40 days by fasting every day. Yeah.
That's crazy. We just started a video where or we're about to start it after when I go back home. We built a gym, like just a weightlifting gym. And then we put a big red circle around it. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to give a guy either, I don't know which one, if he loses 100 pounds before he leaves that red circle.
Ooh.
And so, and he has a trainer in there and he has a chef and everything he'll need. And then, and then
exciting.
Yeah. So like that video might take like a year, and so he's living in there. We have cameras set up and it's just like lose 100 pounds or leave, and if you lose 100 pounds before you leave, you win the money.
That's fair, dude. They should do that around a IndyCar race, Just put a big, huge circle around like a Talladega or whatever.
Why?
And just be like, lose 100 pounds. Oh, I didn't think about the end of it.
Another video we're about to start too is I bought a jet, and then we're grabbing 2 people who just got like graduated from pilot school or whatever, just got their license. And we're going, if you guys live in this jet for the next 100 days, don't step foot out of it once. For the next 100 days, you get to keep the jet. Oh. So then they'll own a private jet, but they can fly it around or do whatever, just as long as they don't leave.
They just can't leave.
Yeah. So like, I'm hoping they'll like fly to New York and just Uber eat some pizza to the door of the jet, then fly to California or whatever. And it just like, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Is there a video? Say if they shut you down, they're like, Beast, you're done. No more beasting around here, boy.
No more
Get out of here, Beast. What if people were like that, and then you got to make one more video? Do you know what it would be? You think?
That's only one more. I mean,
because you've got the $5 million. You've upped the ante.
Yeah, well, that's on the show, but on YouTube, because I don't have streaming money on YouTube. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. There's so many things I want to do. It'd be hard to pick one.
Oh, there are.
Yeah.
You still have a ton of ideas.
Oh, unlimited. I mean, the bottleneck for me is not ideas. It's just like actually pulling them off, because a lot of these are multi-million-dollar projects that take months upon months to set up, months to film, months to edit, et cetera. So it's just like, they're pretty brutal. Like one of the ones we did recently that I thought was really cool, but like this is an example of how much time it takes is we built a bunker underground. Did you see that one?
I know. I'm not sure.
Okay. But so we had to dig like a super deep hole. We bought a bunker, put it in, covered it up, and then pull up the outside of it for him so you can see what it looks like. And then we had to, that top one right there.
I've seen some of this.
Yeah. So that's a bunker we built. And then those two people, if they lived in there for 100 days, they won $500,000.
Oh, they did it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then but you have to set deck the bunker. And then, so that's like multiple months of building and everything. Right. And then you put them in there, and then that's still 3 months and 10 days of filming. And then, you have to have like camera crew there going around the clock, and you have to have a medic there just for safety and all these other things. And I have to check in every day. And then now you come out the other end, you have 100 days worth of footage, which takes, editing team forever to come through and watch and edit and then build stories. So like, that's like a 8-month long project. You know what I mean? So they're just like,
it's a lot.
Yeah. It's very, very intense. And that's the thing is like, the fact that I can do all this for a YouTube video, it was like unfathomable when I was growing up. Like it's crazy to see like the kind of content that can be supported by YouTube. Like I think on that video we probably spent like $4.5 million
making that.
Yeah, just on that between the bunker and the prize pool and everything.
And how many shows can you have? Can you have a couple of things going like that at once?
Yeah, we have to. I try to upload 2 videos a month, so we have to be working on 6 to 8 videos at a time, because these videos take months to pull off. So, because if we're only working on one at a time, then I'd only upload once every like 3 or 4 months.
And do you come up with most of the ideas yourself, or do you have kind of a team when you guys kind of pool them?
Yeah, so that's where it's interesting, because the ideas are incredibly important, because like I do a lot of 7-day challenges, right? I spent 7 days buried alive. I spent 7 days in solitary confinement. 7 days in a cave, underground city, 7 days on desert island, blah, blah, blah. And then what's interesting is like, you could do 7 days buried alive, so me laying in a coffin for 7 days, or you could do, theoretically, right, I could lay in a bathtub for 7 days, right? Both take the same amount of my time. Both are me just laying there, but the one in the bathtub isn't going to get any views. No one gives a fuck. The one of me laying in a tomb underground, everyone will care, because like fucking what the fuck, this dude buried himself alive. So it like shows like theoretically it's kind of the same thing, but this idea is just in a different setting environment and will probably get 10,000 times more views. And so it shows like the importance of the idea, if that makes sense. Like it's not views or success isn't directly correlated with the effort you put in. A lot of it has to do with what is the overarching concept. And so once you kind of realize that, you just like get really obsessed with how do I come up with crazy, cool, original, viral ideas. And so that's what I spent most of my teenage years obsessing over. And I used to do every single day. I would brainstorm video ideas and I'd write them down. And that's how I built I have this like Google sheet with like 10,000 ideas on it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I thought of trying to sell that to YouTubers at one point, because there's so many there I could never film them. But then after a while, now that things have gotten so big and I have to like film 25, 28 days a month and I have all this stuff going on, I can't do an hour a day. So I hired people to do it for me. And then, like once a week, they'll just go, hey, here's 200 really cool, unique ideas. I'll flip through them and they'll usually inspire something in my head. Because a big thing too is like, this is what I've probably said this on a podcast before, but like if there was a fruit in Africa that if you ate, you grew 2 feet taller and you didn't know that existed until I just told you right now, right? You wouldn't have been able to brainstorm ideas around eating that fruit. But now that you know it exists, you could. And so it's like very important to always be intaking new information and learning things, because that's how you come up with more original creative stuff. Like I noticed when I first started hiring people to start brainstorming stuff for me, that like after 2 months of someone doing this, you would just basically start getting the same ideas on autopilot, right? Like if a guy really likes basketball, you'll start to notice like, 10% of his ideas have to do with basketball. But it's not because basketball is like the greatest ideas, the most viral thing is just because that's what he watches. And so, you know, and you'll notice if someone watches baseball, now they conveniently have baseball ideas. And so what you want is you just want to get someone who you just almost like want to make them constantly learn and absorb new information. Listen to 10 different podcasts, one episode of each, not 10 of one. Listen, you know, watch every sport, not one. And you almost have to to train people to help you come up with good ideas. You have to just train them to watch a bunch of different content and absorb information, and you'll see it come out in their ideas, if that makes sense.
So first of all, you'd find somebody who you like, okay, I like that this person comes up with ideas.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, now I just need I need them to encourage them to consume different things.
Yeah, it's almost like an information diet.
Different ingredients to come out with a different cake or whatever.
Exactly.
At the end.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you control their information diet and by,
Information diet. That's so wild.
I mean, and that's, I mean, I obsess over things. So
yeah, it's important.
But that's been super helpful because it's just, that's how because a big part of getting 100 million views theoretically on a video is if, is it something someone has seen before or not? Like there's this TED Talk I watched one time, and he was talking about how, if you're driving down the road, and you just see a cow, you're probably not even going to look at it, right? Who cares? You've seen them all the time. Mm-hmm. But if you're driving down the road and there's a purple cow, you're going to look like 4 times. You're going to remember that. Like someone could ask you a year later and you'll be like, yeah, I saw a purple cow. And it's like, the only difference is it's purple. And it's kind of the same way on social media, right? Like if you're scrolling through videos and it's something you've seen before, nothing too crazy. It's just, it's almost like you should visualize as like, that's the equivalent of someone seeing a cow. But if it's something they've never seen before, like you putting a bunker underground and 2 people living in it, that is the equivalent of a purple cow on social media.
Like, how do I make something that Prince would drink milk out of,
Wait, what did you just say?
Like, how do you make something that Prince would drink milk out of? Prince musician, what's his last name?
Prince. Okay.
You know I'm talking about, Prince from Minnesota?
No.
Oh, Prince.
I've heard the word.
Little Red Corvette.
Yeah.
You know that song? He's a musician, but purple.
Okay.
He was like a purple guy.
Gotcha.
So like, how do you make this, right? There's 2,000 Princes, right? But he's the
one-on-one. Yeah.
He's Prince.
Gotcha.
Right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you...
I got you.
Yeah. I'm saying the same thing you're saying, I think.
So that's a very important thing. So anyways, just if anyone watching ever wants to do social media, make your ideas the purple cow. Don't just be the cow.
Yeah.
Or you'll blend in.
I like going to live events. I know that. And I know that right now I'm actually going to get my friend some tickets so he can go see the Bengals and the Steelers game as a gift, as a holiday gift for him. I'm excited about doing that. GameTime is where I'm going to do it. GameTime. If you want to go to sports, music, theater, comedy, anything you want to attend, GameTime helps you. GameTime has a new feature called GameTime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. That's right. So those Bengals, Steelers tickets, they're going to GameTime will help me figure it out. They have all-in pricing over there. Toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Good. Thanks, GameTime. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Simply download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code WEEKEND for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code WEEKEND for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? GameTime. I'll tell you this. I had a subscription to a necktie corporation or whatever. And every month they sent me to these dang neckties, ties for your neck. Sending me them. I had dang so many. I don't even wear neckties. I had enough of them. You could rappel down a dang 3rd-story building side of it. And I was like, I got to stop this. Thank you, Rocket Money, for helping me find that subscription that I didn't want. Rocket Money. It's a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Thank you, Rocket Money. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Theo. Theo. That's RocketMoney.com/THEO. RocketMoney.com/Theo. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's the truth. Therapy. You know, we think about it sometimes. Some people think they don't need it. You'll figure it out yourself, will you? How long are you going to tell yourself that? You know, I would tell myself things for years. Oh, well, this will get better in 5 years, and it's the same. In 10 years, and it's the same. Now, I don't know that therapy would definitely help, but nothing changes if nothing changes. Maybe something helps. That's the truth. You know, especially during the holidays, you're like, oh, man, I still have the same issue that I had last year. Man, I wish I could have solved it this year, or at least addressed it, help talk about it with someone so I could show up a little differently for myself. Well, BetterHelp can help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Theo today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THEO. Like, what are some common misconceptions about you or your work, do you feel like?
Well, that's a good one. I would say the biggest one is I think people think we make content for kids and like, you know, but
Ooh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. And it's a lot of, because I've been famous, air quotes, I don't know, but for a while now. And the thing is, when I was like in my young, like 20 years, I'm 26 now. When I was like 20 or 21, I didn't have much experience with storytelling or like making these like videos with contestants and like how to like show what they were feeling or anything. So back then the videos came across a little like ADHD, like fast paced or whatever. Cause it's not like I had Christopher Nolan as a father teaching me. I was just learning storytelling as I was going. So a lot of my videos back then got a lot of views. And like same when I was like 22 or 23. But, you know, the last 3 years, we've really leveled up the storytelling and building characters, and especially the last 18 months, and gotten better at like making content that, you know, people in their 20s and 30s would be like, whoa, this is like good and could enjoy. But because a lot of people haven't seen my newer videos and watched my older ones, they still think all my videos are like that. So they just kind of like push it off. So like when someone says like, your videos are too ADHD and you don't have any storytelling, I'll usually like show them like one or two of our newer videos. And they're like, oh my God, this is great. And I was like, yeah, let me guess, you just haven't seen a video in 2 years. I'm like, yeah. And so that kind of is a little bit of a misconception I'm constantly fighting.
Yeah, is that you're still like this kind of just entertainment for kids, or that your entertainment, your ability to entertain is also still junior?
Yeah, exactly. And so, which obviously younger people watch the videos.
Oh yeah,
but,
great.
I mean, I think like anyone, you know, could watch that bunker video and be like, whoa, this is just high quality, entertaining stuff. It's not like you have to be.
That.
Yeah, it's not like you have to be.
The child inside of me liked it, and the adult inside of me liked it.
Exactly.
You know?
So that would be one. I guess the other misconceptions of it is like, it looks like a lot of these videos just, you know, it just looks like me and the boys having fun, because that's what I want it to look like. I want to put the boys in an environment where they're just themselves and things like that. I think people think what I do is a lot easier than it is. Like these things are monumental projects that are a bitch to fucking do. And it's like, you know, and 100+ million people are going to watch it, and like, so everything's just got to be fucking great and perfect. But we don't have years to do these things. We're trying to do what most people would do in a year, in 2 months. So it's like, it is tight timelines, and it's just, we don't have the budgets of these giant studios or anything when we're doing these YouTube videos. And it's just, it's very, very difficult. You know what I mean? Like, I have hundreds of employees full time.
You do?
Yeah. That depend on that YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
At MrBeast Productions?
Yeah, I don't even know if I guess MrBeast Studios. But yeah, it's just a lot of pressure, because it's just a lot of people depend on it. And it's just absurd to think that I have all these employees and we're spending all this money, and I just assume like the magical YouTube algorithm, when I post this video, is just gonna give it to 100 million people every single time.
Wow.
And it's just like that's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of people who watch the content. It's just a lot of everything. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. And it's like, if I don't film, then there's no video. So it's also not a typical business because, you know, you can, in any other company, you can replace basically anyone.
But you are the business.
Exactly. I am. Like literally, if I'm just like, yo, for the next month, I don't want to film, the business is dead. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's, I wouldn't, I just, it's a lot. It's just a lot.
No, it seems like a lot. But did you know it was going to be that much stress? Do you find that you like the stress? Like, I remember even just for myself, right? Like we have responsibilities now. We do like 6 episodes a month now.
Yeah.
And at first I remember I could barely do 1 episode a week was tough. And some weeks it still is. But then some days I'll go through and it's like, this just starts to feel easier. I start to kind of acclimate to where I am. And then there's a part of my brain that's like, okay, well now what can we do? But that same part of my brain is just the brain that forgets like fucking we barely just got to this place.
Yeah.
And are we even okay here, right? So it's tough for me to like monitor the different parts of my brain, the one that wants to do more or try new things, and the one that also wants to make sure we're okay where we're at and not forget.
And be happy.
Right. And be happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so most of the time I work now, it's like, I guess what my question is like, fuck, I don't know what it is, man. Do you know what it is?
I get what you're trying to ask. It's like, how do you, which side of the pendulum are you swinging between being stressed and wanting to die constantly, or like prioritizing being happy and like that basically?
Yeah. And are you able to battle that? Did you know you were as competitive or do you think you're competing against like the algorithm, or you want people to see it? Like, what is that thing that, are you able to notice like, because I don't even know sometimes what drives me to do things or even want to learn more. Yeah.
I would say like you, I'm just incredibly competitive. I just love winning. And it's the thing is, I think people have a misconception. They like try to put everyone, especially famous people, in a box where it's like, this is what motivates them. And this one reason is why they do everything. And I believe you can be motivated by multiple things, right? Like one thing that pushes me is the fact that, a lot of my friends I grew up with work for me, right? And I don't want to ever have to fire them because we can't afford to pay them. I have people who, moved across the world to come work for me. So, that's one thing that motivates me, being able to provide for the people who risked everything. Another thing that motivates me is I just love entertaining people. And the fact that I get to entertain 100 million people or 200 million people or whatever it is, like I think our average videos are doing 200 million views in the first year. Like I know that's a thing that won't last forever, right? I mean, that's like, at some point, I'm not going to be able to upload something and 3% of the humans alive are going to watch it. You know what I mean? So part of it is I want to make sure I'm like taking advantage of the opportunity I have here, because this is like, and when I'm 40, I can't expect that. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's one. And another one is like, it just, for whatever reason, it just is like built in my blood. Like this is just what I do. Like working is just what I live for. And like, I don't really know what else to do with my life. Like I'm just a machine that goes. And if I'm not working on something like stimulating and pushing and innovating, I just kind of get depressed. And like, I'm like, why am I alive? What am I doing?
Who do you get that from? Was one of your folks, you think?
No, I've just kind of always been like this. My mom hates it because I don't really celebrate wins or anything. I just always grinding on things. And I don't know. I think just some people are hardwired like that. And I think, but I think you just got to be who you are. Like that, it just is who I am. But there's other people who see my lifestyle because I've talked about it on podcasts, and a lot of creators want to be like me, and then they end up scaling up bigger teams, and they end up trying to do videos like me, and then they find out they're miserable and they fucking hate it, and it's too much stress and pressure. And so I wouldn't advise this for most creators, right? Like I don't have work-life balance.
You don't
work. No, yeah. I'm like, there are some months where I film 28 days, and I still have to run Feastables. I still do, film 28 days on the main channel. And then I film for our Beast Philanthropy channel. I still film stuff for TikTok because we have over 100 million followers on TikTok, and I have to do stuff on Instagram. I still have to network and do these things. And it's like, it's basically, if my eyes are open, it's like, I have a person whose job is just to help me basically write everything I want to accomplish on a whiteboard. It will take up the size of this wall, and it's like all my priors and things I could be doing, things I should be doing, things other people need me to be doing. And then, we'll just go in the next 7 days, I'll circle all the things I want to do ancillary on top of what naturally I have to do. And then he'll just like schedule out basically every second my eyes are open.
Wow.
Which is good because it helps me. I sometimes fall into a trap of being reactive. Like, my content, channel needs me to film this. Feastables needs me to do this. But you're never going to achieve something great if you're just constantly like a ping pong ball being told what you need to do by your employees. So occasionally you need to be proactive and do other things that, other people wouldn't think of and be a little bit more of a visionary. So doing that kind of helps make sure I'm prioritizing things correctly and things like that.
Well, it's interesting because in the beginning, you're kind of working for yourself because you're the creator, but then you build an audience and then you start to work for the audience in a weird way, right?
Yeah.
And there's no judgment against that, but I just noticed that in my own life. In the beginning, like I'd give anything to have an audience, but it's more like me. It felt like me being me, but then it also starts to feel like now you have the audience. Now you have somebody to work for.
Yeah, because you technically couldn't just 180 and because if you did, you'd lose your audience. And so, I guess technically you're working for them in a way.
Yeah. I was going to say, what did you learn about being a boss? Like, because I never wanted to be like have any employees, right? I never even wanted to be an employee. I didn't want to have any employees. I wanted to have pizza,
Sounds like the life.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to live in a park. But what I'm saying is, oh shit, hold on. I know what it is. I think that, what did you learn about yourself, like about being a boss? Like I learned that if I don't show up in a comfortable way, then it affects how my employees are. Mm-hmm. I've learned that I have to communicate better as to what I want, or because people don't just know what I want.
Yeah.
Right? Those are some things that I've learned them the hard way, kind of. Were there things that you've learned just about being a boss?
Oh, I mean, of course. Because I went from one to, I think now across everything I employ over 400 people, so full time. So it's like, I mean that when I first started hiring people, I was 19, so maybe even 18. So I was a teenager with no idea. I mean, you asked what I learned. I mean, at the start, I literally went to. This is how stupid I was when I was a teenager. I literally went to a comedy club or whatever comedy. Tariq, what was it? Comedy.
It was just an open mic.
Oh, open mic. Yeah, Tariq was one of the people I hired there. It's funny, he's still here 7 years later. But I went to an open mic. And I was just like, I want my YouTube channel to be a little funnier. So I'm just going to go hire some random comedians at an open mic. So I just went to one. And then I just was like writing on like a notepad every time they made me laugh, the comedians. And then the ones that made me laugh the most, I just afterwards went backstage and I was like, yo, you want a job? You want to help me make YouTube videos? And that's how I first started hiring. And then after that, I went into like my local Best Buy, like the electronics store. It's fucking stupid, but I didn't know what I was doing. Like, obviously, if you want to hire people, you should just go find production people or people with creative experience or whatever, not go into a local Best Buy. And I hired like 7 people in my local electronics store. And so I have like this ragtag group of comedians and this ragtag group of people who sell fucking laptops. And I'm like, yo, and mixed in with some people I just hired from my high school. And I'm like, and we're making these videos that are getting views and like I'm scaling up and I'm like, guys, let's give my 3 million subscriber 3 million pennies. And they're like, how the fuck do we get 3 million pennies? I'm like, I don't know. And we're just like brute forcing shit. And I mean, it was an absolute dumpster fire. I didn't know what I was doing because I wish I had a mentor or something. But then after a while, I realized, maybe I should hire people who have a little bit of experience in this field, not laptop salesmen and comedians. And over time, I started to figure it out. And
but you stayed in motion, it sounds like too, though. Like you were like, this is how I do. I need something funny. I'll go to a place that has funny. I need a guy who can, sell refrigerators, but talk about also iPods, right? I'll go to a Best Buy, right?
Yeah, the Best Buy is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life.
That's pretty crazy. Because some of those people are just smoking weed and wearing a shirt. They're not even clocked in.
Yeah, it was
like wearing a blue shirt.
It was not the highest quality people.
Yeah.
One of them ended up being a convicted felon too, and I didn't even realize that when I hired him. But so I was just like, if Best Buy hired them, I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was supposed to do background checks when I was a teenager. Obviously, we do that now. But I mean everything. I didn't know how payroll worked or taxes. I didn't know what a CFO was or bookkeeping. So it's just like a lot. And I just had to learn it through trial and error, but we have an audience the whole time. So it's not like I can just pause things and then like go, let me just get rid of all these Best Buy and comedians and replace them with real people. So I have to keep filming, but these videos we're filming are videos no one's ever done before. So these are really complicated things that are constantly going wrong. Like I think back then, like 1 in 3 videos I filmed, just like I didn't like it. So I scrapped it or it got fucked up when we were filming it or whatever, because like these were just big spectacles and we just didn't have the team for it. And I was reinvesting everything. And like, there was one time where I like, I accidentally overspent and we were like negative $200,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah, my mom was like losing her fucking mind. And I was like, it's fine, Mom. I'll just, next month, I think we'll make like, 200 grand or whatever. And I'll just like spend a little less and I will dig out of this hole. Like she hated it.
Because she was helping with the finances?
Well, but we just didn't have money growing up. And so like when I wanted to, like when I think one month we made like $100,000 and she was like very adamant. She's like, just put 20% away. Just let me build a nest egg, this and that. And I was like, no, actually I was thinking of just giving like $100,000 to Twitch streamers. I think that'd be a good video people would like. And she for 10 hours straight was like, why not give them 80,000? It's like, because and this is where I'm a lot better at communicating now than I was back then. I was like, you're talking like, this is a guy who grew up with pimples, didn't communicate much, sat in his room and fucking worked on YouTube videos and obsessed over, business and entrepreneurship where everyone else just wanted to watch South Park. And so I didn't relate to anyone. So my social skills were negative 10,000. So I was horrible at communicating things. So I'd just be like, and like in hindsight, it's kind of obvious, but at the time, like there's a huge language barrier between me and my mom because all that existed in this brain was make the best videos possible, and she didn't fully get that. And like that was it. I was a robot. That is what I live for. I was not a human at that time, and so I was just like, if we made 100 grand, why would I not spend the 100 grand on videos? Right. And she'd be like, put some away, and I was like, but if I put it away, I would just spend it on other videos. So why can't I just spend it on videos now? And we would just do that for hours every single day.
You're like, if I put away 20 grand, that I'm only going to be able to make 80% of the best video I could make at that time.
It's just,
and we're not going to do that.
Why am I putting the money away?
Right.
I was like, Mom,
to not make a good video?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Mom, my rent is like $350. The car's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, why do we need to put it away? And she'd just be like, and I also didn't fully realize this, but she would even get trauma to like 2008 when they lost everything and went bankrupt. And so she was like,
she's like, we got to save something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's what would make it intense. And I didn't fully understand it at the time either. So it would like get her to the point where she would cry because I would reinvest everything. And she just like didn't want what happened to her in 2008 to happen to me. And I just like didn't care at all. I just like, Mom, wow, trust me, videos. And so that was a thing for a very long time. But eventually she got to the point where she's like, you know what? I'll just trust you. And that's when things got great. Cause then like it helped my relationship with her a lot because she started stressing less and she just believes, I got it.
She's like, Jimmy, you'll figure this out.
Exactly. And like
MrBeast, Son Beast.
Yeah. When shit happens, she just goes, I know you'll figure it out. I'm like, thanks. Like no need for you to cry or freak out. Like I got this.
Wow. Did you ever do something nice for your mom? Did you guys ever go to a concert together or something? Y'all like to do anything together?
Right now, I don't really get any time off. So we joke like in 10 years, all the things we'll do when like things kind of cool off. But, But no, she gets it. She actually sent me a message, like I think it was like 4 days ago, like a really long message saying how like she's very grateful that she still gets to work with me and do things with me, and how like most people in my position would like push their mom away. But we do a lot of our bonding is like doing work stuff and things like that, because it's like then it's like something I truly care about. You know what I mean? Like if we went to a concert, like she would see through that facade. She would know I'm not doing that because I care, just doing it to like check a box. So but when we work together, it's like genuinely fulfilling and it's cool to like.
She likes to work too?
Yeah. Well, the stuff she was doing when we're building the business, no, that was very stressful. Now we have it to stuff that's a little more chill and where it's fun. Like, we have hundreds of employees that have divvy cards and all these things. And so we have a lot of bank accounts. How do you know, someone's not just stealing money?
Yeah, for sure.
Who else can you trust besides your mom to control the master accounts? Because at some point there's a master key of someone who could, if they wanted to just withdraw $1 million and just fucking run to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
So like that's like a really big thing that I count on my mom just to like manage the accounts and make sure there's no fraud and stuff like that. Cause I don't fucking know, like, and things like that. But yeah, it's been a fun journey. And so yeah, I'm very grateful for my mom. It's kind of crazy that like moms just put 18 years of their life just pouring everything into building up this human. And
it's a risk, dude.
Yeah.
You're like this human. And most humans, look up most humans or whatever.
Wait, most humans?
It's a shaky business. Just being a human.
I know. And then they just unleash you in the wild and then you just move on. And it's like, it's just wild.
It's really a crazy premise,
Yeah. Cause I'm thinking about how like, when I love to spoil my mom because I'm like, you just like just gave everything for 18 years, especially after 2008 and all this stuff, you know, worked multiple jobs just so I could like, at the time, what you thought was just be a brat and work on YouTube videos. And you thought, you know, just basically it almost would have seemed my purpose in life was to make you as miserable as possible. Yet you kept raising me and didn't give up on me. And it's like, so I think of that and then I'm like, fuck, I need to spoil my mom.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like I think of a different parallel universe where I'm not in this position. It's like, damn, I would never have been able to like repay her for all that time.
Spoiler as much.
Yeah. Or spoiler as much.
There's been recently, like in the news and stuff, I'm not as abrept on it, but there was like they were trying. It seemed like they were trying to like poke holes in you guys' company and stuff.
Yeah,
but a lot of it, like there were. I don't know if there was like different allegations and stuff against.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was against you or your company, but none of it. From what I've seen, there was never any like validity to it.
Yeah.
Right. Do you believe that there was actually something going on at your company that was bad? Or do you believe that other people, like at a certain point, if your company's doing so well, that other companies or outside dark interests get upset and try to lead like reporters or create like a negative buzz? Is that a crazy question?
No, it's accurate. It's the thing is, again, I have hundreds of employees that I employ full time, but I've also hired hundreds of people in the past. And sometimes like, you know, sometimes we have hundreds of contractors just working on singular videos because the sets are so big. So we work with lots of people. It's impossible for there never to be anything negative. You know, that's why you have HR and things like that. So, no, I mean, it'd be crazy to say there's never been any issues where no one that's ever worked for me has ever been unhappy or, you know, one employee's never said anything, you know, dumb to some other employee that made them want to complain or things like that. So, but I think the thing is, it's just obviously completely blown out of proportion. Like that's not a thing that's just particular to us. Any company with hundreds of employees, obviously there's going to occasionally be something someone says is something that's inappropriate or something that's not ideal, but that's where, when we're made aware of it, we obviously have HR look into it, or if it's something serious, we'll bring in an outside third party, have them look into it and just tell us what to do. You know what I mean?
And it's weird for you because if something happens at Nike, then it's like there's an issue. There's something happened at Nike. Yeah. But if something happens at a production company and you are basically exactly the business, then a lot of it probably just feels.
Yeah, and like I have people I employ that I've never met in my life. I probably never will. I mean, because we just have so many people, and some of them don't work in my hometown and things like that. So yeah, I mean, the answer is like, yeah. It's absurd to think that, you know, hundreds of people or sometimes over 1,000 when we scale up contractors working together all these hours, that there'll never be any issues. And yeah, all I can really do is make sure I'm not creating an environment where we're influencing that, which we're doing our best. And like, and then when those kinds of things happen, just bring in someone to look into it and just be like, yo, tell me what to do, because I'm a fucking YouTuber. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. You know, if someone says something like, you know, hey there, darling, or whatever, and then that person feels like that was inappropriate. Like, I don't want to be the judge of that. I don't want someone in my company to be a judge of it. I want to bring someone in and be like, yo, talk to them, gather the facts, and you tell me what I'm supposed to do, which is what we do. And that's all I really can do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it would seem like, God, it would just seem like so much stuff is out of your hands when it's got to be tough when you're a creator, you know, because you want to you kind of want to do everything and have it as a business scales. It's kind of tough because you can't, you know? What else did I want to ask you about? Oh, I wanted to ask you about.
Oh, he's got the flashcards.
Sorry, dude.
It's cool.
I went as long as I could. That was a long for me. So yeah, like you've had, like we were talking earlier about like philanthropy. So you had, like you've taken plastics out of the ocean, right? Yeah. You put, help people with eyesight. You put you've done water wells in Africa or Zambia?
Oh yeah, in Africa. 100 wells all across Zambia or Africa.
Did you, like what is there like a overall goal of like a big crazy vision you see for the future of like some sort of philanthropic idea?
For us or just in general?
Yeah, just in general, it could be anything.
Well, the thing I've been focusing most of my time on in that area recently is, so for Feastables, obviously chocolate is made of cocoa. There's a lot of unethical stuff that goes on cocoa farms. I don't know if you're aware of that. A lot of child labor.
Look, I've used, it depends on what kind of farms we're talking about, but
yeah. Well,
there's some definitely,
in West Africa. Like, so Majority of the world's cocoa comes from Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana. It's like, I believe like 70% of the world's cocoa. And like
Punta Baravana?
Cote d'Ivoire.
Kota Vara.
Cote d'Ivoire, yeah.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, and then Ghana, they're on the left.
Oh, and Ghana. Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two countries are on the left side of Africa. Kind of like where the round part right there is like the perfect place to go grow cocoa. And so, but 46% of the labor on farms there, which is where almost all the cocoa in the world comes from, is child labor. So it's like pretty, like just a lot of things going on there. And so that's where I've been focusing a lot of my attention because obviously we need a lot of cocoa for Feastables. And so we used to get our cocoa from Peru, which ethical sourcing is not as big of a problem over there. And we use a lot of family-owned farms and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, there's not enough cocoa comes from Peru to supply big chocolate. And I wanted to show so saying I ethically source my cocoa from Peru doesn't really prove anything because big other chocolate companies will just go, okay, but we can't do that. There's not enough cocoa in Peru. So like that doesn't count. It's not possible to ethically source cocoa in West Africa. So, and I knew if Feastables kept growing, eventually we would have to switch over there. So this past year, we switched our supply chain over there, and we've been just working with have you ever heard of Tony Chocolonely? Probably not.
Tony Chocolonely?
Yeah.
No, and is it a real person?
Well, it's a reporter who went like super deep in exposing like the chocolate industry and child labor.
Really interesting guy?
Yeah, yeah. And he was like, and no chocolate companies would ethically source their cocoa, and he kept exposing them, and none of them
Let's
were
have
doing
him on.
things.
Would he be a cool guest, you think?
Yeah, he'd be awesome.
Wow, it sounds crazy. I didn't know there was bad chocolate out there.
Yeah, so he started his own chocolate company to prove that you could ethically source it, and he called it Tony's Chocolate Only because it's the lonely.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, badass baller company. And so I've been working with them to figure out how we can also ethically source our chocolate because they're the only ones really doing it.
Clean cocoa, dude.
Yeah. So we built a supply chain with them. And so like all our farmers were fair trade certified, and then we pay our farmers a living income because a big reason why there's child labor is because farmers in West Africa just don't make enough money. So it like that is like if you're to rank the issues, like the number one issue is just income. Like they just can't even afford to hire adults. They don't make enough. So what they do and what we're doing for Feastables is there's a living income reference price where they basically look at the cost of bread, the cost of living, cost of inflation, blah, blah, blah. And they go, if a farmer were to sell you a metric ton of beans, if they don't get paid this number, then they won't be able to make a living income. They won't be able to live, which then means they'll be forced to use child labor because if not, it's like that's the only way they'll be able to survive.
Right. So they have to have children working.
Yeah. So they need to make, and I'm paraphrasing this in mile high stuff, but they need to make this theoretical number, which is living income reference price. And so that's what we guarantee our farmers. So there, if like they theoretically sell us the cocoa, a metric ton of cocoa for less than that, we'll pay a premium on top and be like, no, here's extra money. This is what you need to make so you can actually live. But we don't want child labor on the farm. So we'll guarantee you'll make this much, but I don't want to see fucking 9-year-old Timmy on the cocoa farm. You know what I mean? So that's like the big thing. And then we do they have farm coaches because another way to help farmers make more money is not just pay them more, but it's also help them get more yield out of their farms. So they have coaches that will help counsel them and, theoretically try to help them get 5 or 10% more yield out of the same hectares they have. Occasionally give them some supplies. It's very all about getting it. Because it's an income problem for a lot of them, why they're using child labor. Like you could go to the farm and be like, stop using child labor. But if they can't
they can't survive, if the family can't eat, if the kids don't also work,
So that's been a big journey. I actually spent recently a week in Ghana just going through the whole supply chain. So I worked on the farm, and then you crack the pods, laid out to dry, and then saw where they dry and then where they store the beans, and even how the government does QC on the beans. Went through the whole thing all the way to the ship. Just so this has been the last year, probably a good fucking chunk of my time has been going to figuring out ethical sourcing with them because it's very expensive, So I just want to make sure we're doing it right. And So,
and also that's a really a big form of philanthropy itself because, just teaching these people how to have more success in their own lives. I mean, that kind of stuff is huge. You teach one person in an area and then they can be a leader and teach other people. It's you don't even realize kind of the residual
Well, the bigger thing is
of that.
I hope to, I hope to get it where if Feastables keeps growing, where we can be look, we're a big chocolate company and we're ethically sourced and we're profitable. So then we can look at other big chocolate companies and go, you have no excuse, right? Right now, they can all just say, it's impossible. You don't understand. You don't have scale at companies our size. This is a fairy tale dream, but because no one's doing it,
right?
That's actually doing serious revenue. So if we can get to that point where theoretically we're selling $1 billion a year of chocolate and it's ethically sourced and it's profitable, then they have no excuse. Exactly. And so because there's over 1 million kids in child labor and on cocoa farms in West Africa right now.
No way.
Yeah. And Feastables itself is not going to be able to get all 1 million out. But if we could theoretically get tens of thousands of kids out of child labor and then use that in my, platform and stuff like this to bully everyone else, then hopefully that can create a snowball that gets hundreds of thousands of kids out of child labor. Yeah.
Big chocolate's going down, boy.
We'll see. That. I mean, it's just...
I hate Three Musketeers. I'll say it out loud. And when people eat them, and I'll say this, when people eat them, I judge them.
No comment. I don't want to get sued.
Yeah. I'm just saying I don't like them.
Yeah, he does not like Three Musketeers.
And I can say that, can I?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
I could say I don't like Three Musketeers either. Not because of anything, just I don't like the way
I don't know any of their behaviors. I don't know what they're doing before they mail it to me or whatever. I don't like it. I never have liked it. And I don't even believe in it.
Yeah.
Which is also a way that I feel about it. Like when I open it up, I don't even believe in it. And paydays, the nuts aren't any good in them anymore. And they were better when my mom.
Paydays, I feel like if they had a little more saltiness, a little more nuts, those things would be the bomb. Yeah, it's a little, the chewy stuff in the middle is just a little too overpowering now. I agree.
Yeah.
Paydays are so close to being a phenomenal product.
Yep. And the nuts used to be a little more, they had more edges on them. They looked like more nuts.
I relate. I had a Payday recently. I thought the same thing. I was like, this fucking shit in the middle. It's just not, there's no flavor. I want more fucking salt.
It fell off for me and I don't know when. My mom used to get them sometimes. It would be like a special thing that she would get, but she would let us watch her eat them. I'm going to tell you this. Have you ever dealt with you're so big on YouTube? Do you ever deal with sanctions and stuff on there? Have you had to deal with that? Is that a conversation you have with them?
Sanctions?
Or they say you can't do certain things? Do you have to submit all your videos and go through a process like that?
Well,
can we even talk about that? Or
no, we could talk about the conspiracy theorists are going to run away with this, but a lot of when there's a higher ad what is it? When you get bigger, there's a Google Preferred or whatever, where it's for bigger advertisers like Coke or whatever, premium advertisers, they want to make sure they're not advertising on, bad content. Mm-hmm. So for bigger channels, YouTube, if they'll review your video before it goes up, just to make sure it's clean and you're not just saying Hitler 1,000 times.
Yeah.
To make sure it's good for bigger advertisers. So they review it for that, but they do that for, I believe, thousands of creators right now, which, but you don't have to do that. It just helps you get higher ad rates. But no, I mean, I just post whatever. They don't know what I'm doing or anything. And they're pretty chill.
Do you think they're in a tough position?
With what?
Just having to set up parameters for different videos and the effect that it could have on certain people and that sort of thing. I always just think about it from my perspective. I'm always well, we're upset, sometimes they'll make us take a joke or this sort of thing. They may not,
Well, the thing is, they're not making you take it out. They're just saying if you don't take it out, you won't get higher ad rates.
That's a good point.
Think of any brand that spends $1 billion a year on marketing. That's them saying, hey, YouTube, if any of these things are in a video, we don't want to be on it. And YouTube just going, hey, take this out or we can't put these premium ads on you, which I think makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I only look at it from my perspective. I'm not able to look at it from this is a platform where they allow us to put our stuff up.
Exactly.
And then so they also are trying to do business as well.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? We're almost done.
I mean, we can keep going. I'm having fun.
You don't drink, right?
I've maybe drank 5 times in my life. I don't like the way it makes me feel. It's
is it out of control that it makes you feel, you think?
No, it just so I didn't drink alcohol until I was 23 or 24. I wanted to stay the fuck away from it because I have a very addictive personality. So my goal was to go my entire life without ever drinking alcohol. But then I was with Logan Paul one time, or I was at a casino.
Oh yeah,
gambling, and then Logan Paul was there, and then he was like, let's hang out. And then
was it a UFC fight or something?
I don't even remember. It might have been Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor or something. No,
oh yeah,
I don't know. But so I was like, okay, we can gamble together. And then we're walking to the tables, and he stops by a club. He's like, let's just go in here. It'll be 1 minute. I was like, oh my God, I fucking hate clubs. They're so boring. So I go in there. 1 minute turns into 2 hours, and I'm just so fucking bored. And I just caved. I was like, okay, I need to just drink. And I'd never drank in my life, but I'm something. I need something. I'm dying.
A lot of people need a drink to be around the pulse.
That's when that was the time I did it. And then I was just oh, I just kind of feel weird, but it's not a happy weird. It's just like, I just don't like it.
You don't dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's getting less and less popular in the world, kind of, especially with like younger generation. It's just like, they just think it's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it just makes me feel stupid, and like, but not a good stupid. It's not like a happy stupid. It's like, it's just dumb, like a waste of time.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that. In July, you tweeted, if you were to lower the age for president that you might run. Do you still think that ever?
No. I mean, I might when I'm older, but not. No, if they lowered it, that was mostly a joke, just because I knew people would freak the fuck out and talk about it. And
That'd
it worked.
be me. Yep.
But I would, if I were to, it would probably be like when I'm like 50 or 60, because I would need to like accomplish everything I want in business and stuff, and then probably take like 10 years, and I'd have to go be like do something at the local level and then the state level and work my way up. But yeah, we'll see.
But there could be potentially a President Beast. You never know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you never know, especially after you learn a lot. Do you? Has Elon ever reached out to you to do something cool together? Because I mean, you guys at a certain point, you guys are both like pioneers in certain schools of thought and certainly creative folks.
Yeah, I mean, he's pioneering taking us to Mars, electric cars, talking with your phone through your brain, digging tunnels, fixing traffic. Getting rid of $1 trillion of waste in the government now, and this and that, and I'm pioneering funny videos.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I put those in, but kidding. But we bumped into each other at the Super Bowl, said hi. I think he asked me, do I think people call X Twitter still, or do people call it X? And I was like, yeah, most people call it Twitter, I've noticed. He's like, interesting. I think that was kind of like the gist of it.
Yeah.
And then, but outside of that, no, not really. I mean, I'm in talks with people at SpaceX, and we've been cooking ideas and things like that, but not Elon himself.
Yeah. Yeah, we tried to ask if we could interview those the two people stuck up in that shuttle.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy.
I wanted to be the first one, because people are like, who you want to get on your podcast? And they're like, anybody. And I was trying to think, who can you not get? And like, oh, somebody who's not on Earth.
Yeah.
Right? That's who you got to get.
Yeah, that would
somebody
be
who's
sick.
just loitering or whatever, And I love how they're not aliens, but it's like, all right.
Do you think you could get Elon on here one day? Do you think
I think maybe.
Yeah.
They offered to send me a Starlink if I want to get one. So I might get one. Are you using them?
Oh yeah, Starlink's amazing, bro. When you're in fucking Zambia in the middle of nowhere, that's the only. It's Starlink in Antarctica was amazing. Wow. Like Antarctica, you're in the middle of nowhere, and I mean literally the furthest from human civilization on the planet. And yeah, you can get internet. It's such a phenomenal product.
Did you see anything cool like unique? Because a lot of people say Antarctica that they're hiding secret stuff up there, that there's that kind of energy.
Oh boy, yeah, Antarctica. You should go to Antarctica at some time in your life. It is.
Oh, I would love to go up there if they'll have me up there.
So there's like you go to South America, and then you get on a Boeing 747, like an actual like commercial plane.
You go to South America.
Yeah, you go all the way to like the very bottom, like of Chile.
Oh, because Antarctica's at the bottom.
Yeah. And then you board like a commercial plane, like you're flying like fucking Delta here, and it just starts flying, and you fly over the ocean, and then you see just this endless abyss of white snow and mountains, and you just keep flying deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and then you just see there's just fucking ice runway. I mean, it's the sketchiest thing you'll ever see in your life, and it just lands this commercial airliner there. I had no idea of any of this going into it. I kind of went into it pretty raw, and you get off. It's just this janky little like ladder thing type beat. Go down one image. Right there, that one, click on it, because they have to brush all the snow off. Yeah, that's what you land on.
Wow.
Just ice. And then that's not the one we went to, but then there's just this research facility where there's like 3 big tents that researchers work out of, and then there's like 100 tents that they all live out of.
So there's no actual terminal?
No, because the time it's like sun 24/7. But then there's like these intense winters, like 3 or 4 months a year where it's like dark and you can't be there. So they have to pack everything up and leave. You can't leave anything behind. So it's like a temporary thing. And so we get out, and there's all these researchers doing experiments and cool shit. And I'm just like, hey, I'm here to film a video. So And then so we were supposed to just be there for like 2 days or 3 days or whatever, but a snowstorm hits. So what we were going to do is just go out in a random direction and then just set up a camp in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica and try to survive for 50 hours.
Oh yeah.
But there was an intense snowstorm. So we had to sit in these research facilities and wait them out. And one of them was so crazy. It's like this tent with like door, and it like flung it open. It was so intense that we had to like hold the door shut because it's like barreling snow in. And I'm like, my God, I think we're gonna die. Like it was crazy. They're like, we haven't had a storm like this in a while. And like you have like all these little tents that you live in, and like the big communal tents for where everyone hangs out and stuff. And the little tent, like we had to build like actual snow walls around our tent because there's so much wind blowing that like our tents would have got swept away. So I had to barricade I'm like, this is just a normal thing. They're like, yeah, that's just what happens. And so you're like building a wall around your metal pole reinforced tent that you're going to sleep in. And like when the winds would pick up at night, I'm like, fuck, it's like, is my tent just going to fly off? Like,
and there's nowhere to run to.
Yeah.
Right?
You just run to the bigger tent, but it's like, it was crazy, and also in Antarctica, bro, it's like, you can't pee or shit in the snow or anything, like because you can't leave anything behind. Like that's massively illegal. And so all your waste and stuff, you have to store and carry and hold and that kind of stuff.
And fly back with it?
Well, they will, but you'll just put it in like a piss tank where they'll hold on to it and the shit in the ship bag that like this big shit thing they had. But also you get snow blindness because everything's white and the sun reflects. So you have to wear glasses when you go outside or it'll literally blind you, which was like, that was crazy.
Yeah. Imagine, first of all, you're almost blind, can't shit.
Yeah. Well, so you wear these like tinted glasses.
What are you even doing, dude?
But bro,
it's like you're 80 years old.
It's so beautiful though. It's like crazy to just see, you're just in the middle of nowhere. It feels like you're on a different planet. And it was like, sometimes you just walk outside, you just walk in a direction, you just see nothing anywhere. And it was
there
awesome.
A zoo or anything like that?
No, there's nothing.
Is there any?
No animals, nothing.
No roads or nothing, huh?
No, there's literally nothing there. I mean, and like, so after the snowstorm calmed down, we just went out, like got on these like little skis or things, went far away. But this is where it gets scary because there's crevasses and ravines and things like that. So you could be walking and then just fall 100 feet and die, right? Because there's like the snow could have like slightly piled up over like 100-foot gap in between the ice or things like that. So you have to have like this device go on in front of you that checks to make sure there's not just like a giant hole you're going to fall in. No. And you have to mark everything. So we go out in this random direction, scan everything, and then we scanned like this little like 100-foot, square foot perimeter, put up flags. And it's like, guys, if you walk across those flags, there's a chance you'll fucking die. So boys, stay within this unless we scan more areas. And then, we just started setting up tents, raw dogging it in the middle of nowhere, Antarctica, far away from the research facilities. And it was a fucking awesome experience. And then there's this mountain that no one had any records of someone climbing. So we climbed this pretty tall mountain. And so I got to name it, which I named it Shopify because they sponsored the video and helped make the whole thing happen. But it was crazy, man, climbing up this mountain. And I had no idea how we did that. Can you pull it up? Just like go to the 50 hours in Antarctica.
Is it nice? Like, and there's no people, there's not like Antarctican, you can't go to a bar, nothing, there's nothing.
No, there's literally nothing. Like there's research facilities.
So do you think there's crazy stuff going on down there? Like they say there's a lot of.
No, I don't think there's anything. See, look at that.
Wow.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah, we were deep in there.
And it's super cold, huh?
Yeah, it depends on the time. So the problem is like when you move around and you have so many layers, you start to heat up and then you take the clothes off and then you get really cold. Yeah, see, look where we went to.
Is there a chance that at one point it was thawed out and it was a normal land and we'll be able to explore it one day and we just don't know, or that's complete nothing?
Well, it's not straight, like those are real rocks and stuff. So it's ice on top of stuff. So yeah, there is land. And it is crazy that way.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, look at that snowstorm we got hit with. So this is after we left the research facility and now we're going to set up camp. And like, those are the goggles you have to wear to not go blind. And then right here is where
it's like a human Iditarod kind of. Oh, that's the island? That's the mountain you named?
No, that's just flat ground. Yeah, the mountain's behind us over there.
Yeah.
And then this is us setting up our tents and we're just a bunch of stupid kids. I don't know how we pulled this off.
Yeah, you could have lost a kid easy.
Well, yeah, obviously we had a safety expert there, but
obviously that's it.
Then just skip ahead like to towards the end where you see me climbing up the mountain. It's probably I don't know, maybe after this or before it. I just want him to see,
and that's just an ice thing you're in.
Yeah, keep
an
going
igloo?
to the left.
Is that an igloo?
No, that's the tent, but it's metal reinforced. Yeah, to the right a little bit. Yeah, right there. Just hit it. Right click a couple or double tap. Yeah, so look at this right here. This is us climbing up the mountain. Look at those views. It's fucking gnarly.
Oh, Shopify
yeah,
mountain.
I did an ad read. I was like, what's the most interesting time I can do an ad read? And I was like, where people wouldn't click off. I was like, while I'm climbing this mountain, it'll probably be more interesting.
Do you think you'll get to do a video with Kim Jong-un ever?
I mean,
like a game show to help some of his citizens?
I feel like they would think it's Western propaganda. I don't think they would let me. When I first started uploading in China, they called me like a American capitalist or whatever. Whenever I post we posted some of our videos that got views. They're like, this American capitalist. So I stopped posting the videos where we give away money and just more like the challenge videos. And then they're like, oh, this is cool. Oh.
So they just don't like the money as the goal.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't want to inspire. They don't want their people to see that.
I don't know what the logic was, but I just noticed that a lot in the comments. So I was like, okay, let me just switch up what I'm posting over here.
What do you watch on TV, man? You watching anything?
What am I watching? I'm about to start Penguin. The HBO show. I haven't started that yet.
I haven't seen that yet either.
That was on the list for tonight. Honestly, I'm watching Beast Games. Like I probably watched that episode we watched earlier 100 times.
To give still notes on it, think of things?
Notes, but I've also, now I just get enjoyment out of watching other people watch it because that episode's mostly locked, but I'm like,
so good, man.
Yeah, I've watched like maybe 30 people watch it. So it's like my guilty pleasure is just watching like what other people watch my show.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome. And to know that it's more for adults, it's like I think you're right. I think you were perfectly right. Like when you think about MrBeast, it's like there's a part of you that still thinks part of it's for children, and it is for children.
Yeah,
but it's also for everyone.
But Beast Games is definitely for everyone. I mean, it's the most aged up, mature stuff we've ever done, and I just can't wait, man, because we spent over a year working on that. I told you how much money we spent on it. It was so much time and effort. And like the YouTube videos you make and then you upload 2 months later, to sit on this for so long and we have 10 episodes of it filmed, it's like, just to put it out in the world will just fucking awesome. God fucking damn it, I can't wait.
So that's something that excites you, just to see people see it?
Yeah. I'm so excited. Because most people have no idea what it is, and the ones that are going to watch it, and I feel like their minds are just going to be so fucking blown.
The fact you told me everybody's on their own individual platform, and how many platforms were there?
1,000 towers. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. I had to build 1,000 of those, and then 1,000 we needed 3,000 hydraulic presses or whatever they're called to open them, and 3,000 hydraulics. And it's like to build those, and then 1,000 foam pits and 1,000 crash pads. And then we had to rig up 1,000 lightings and 1,000 GoPros, and then to build all that. And then the screens on the side. And I mean, even just $5 million of real money having that there and all that stuff, and then building the sets. And that's just one of the 10 episodes. You know what I mean? So we had to do that 10 times. Built a fucking city. Name one show who has just gone, okay, this field, build enough housing for 500 people, build a sports facility, build 2 massive 5-story towers, build a helipad, build this, build that, and make it look good, and a wall.
Yeah. Closest thing I can think is that Angola prison rodeo. Have you ever heard of that? It's down in
no,
outside of Baton Rouge. I mean, it's not like what you're talking about, but it's like they put on a pretty good event once a year down there, and the prisoners do the rodeoing.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The Angola prison rodeo.
Angola prison.
Pretty awesome if you're into that kind of stuff. But yeah, you would definitely be able to do this way better. But just let you know, there's a little bit of competition out there.
Wait, so those are prisoners?
Yep, they put them all in this circle, right? And if you leave the circle, they send the bulls through. And if you leave the circle, you lose, right?
And what do the prisoners get out of it?
I think they get like time with a basketball or something. I don't know what the prize is. I'll have to look and see what the prizes are.
It's crazy. What?
We stayed in there. And this is...
He really wants that prize.
Right. But yeah, just to let you know, so there is a little competition out there. Have you ever seen, the last question halfway, Jimmy, you ever seen that show Hands on a Hard Body? You ever see that movie?
No.
Wow.
Hands on a hard body.
There was a car. Somebody went to a mall.
Oh, that one.
The documentary, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of the last take hand off car keeps it type.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a clip of that on TikTok.
And they all have their hand on a hard body. The original one is great. Oh, there's a musical now? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, nothing getting me to take my hand off, but it's gone.
We did last take hand off Lamborghini keeps it.
You did?
Yeah, with 50 people.
Well, this is how somebody walked up and was like, hey, you want this chocolate bar? And I got like, I would love it. And he took it with both hands.
Damn.
Who takes a chocolate bar off somebody with both hands?
And
bro?
he made a mistake?
And he lost.
Yeah, so we did one too where we took $1 million in cash, had people put their hands on it. And I think one of the 4 people, I don't remember, but like, cause after like 18 hours, you start to like forget, you know, and you're not 100% focused. I think he just like reached to grab something and then was like, oh shit, and lost $1 million.
They say that the world will be changed by individuals and humans. And sometimes you start to think that that's not going to happen, you know, that people are going to expect a government to do it. But then I think you meet somebody like you and you're like, wow, anything is maybe possible, man. I think that's kind of like a feeling that I really got spending time with you today, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing your new show with me. And is it tough for you to like, so if you spend so much time working and would it like, is relationship something that's hard for you to navigate? I know you said you have a relationship.
Yeah.
Is that a tough thing for you to drop in and also be like a regular person? Like, because I'll notice I'll invite a girl over and then I'll sit there and do work.
Yeah. Well, that's relationships just even outside of dating have always been a problem for me because like I think this might have been a traumatic experience because I still picture it to this day and I occasionally have dreams of it. But I remember when I was like 15 or 16, like because I was so obsessed with YouTube. I remember like at lunch one time, like one person literally just looked me dead in the eyes and said, do you know how to talk about anything besides fucking YouTube? Wow. And I was like, whoa. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to not talk about YouTube. And then, so I just didn't talk. Like, and like at one point, someone unironically asked me if I was mute. Like, cause I was just like, in my head, I was like, well, people think I talk about YouTube too much. And I don't know anything else besides YouTube. And so I just didn't know what to do. And it was like very like traumatic for me because I was so fucking obsessed with it growing up. And the problem is though, right. And back then I thought, okay, I'm a freak of nature. I'm the problem. And I tried to watch South Park and I think it's a good show, but I just didn't find it interesting. And my like opportunity cost brain back then was like, no, I need to be working. This is blah, blah, blah. And so I just never related to anyone. I thought it was because I'm a freak and it's all me. But then when I was like 18 or 19 and got a little smarter, I realized, no, it's just in my school, there just weren't people who were interested in the same things as me. And so I was like, but it is what it is. I don't need to change who I am. I just need to change the people I'm around. And that was like a big turning point for me.
Wow.
And so, no, I don't struggle with the relationships. I mean, if you just put me in a room with someone who isn't trying to achieve anything or doesn't want to do anything extraordinary and just wants to play video games and blah, blah, like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't relate to him. It'd be a struggle. But you put me in a room with someone who is building a business and trying to do something cool. Like, I mean, we could probably talk for 10 hours straight. You know what I mean? So it's just all who you're around. It's just those people are pretty rare and you don't stumble into them. You have to be very diligent to like have those kind of people in your life. So yeah, that just putting myself around the right kind of people has helped like crazy. And my current girlfriend, she's amazing. She understands that, like, you know, growing the channel and making great content. And right now with Feastables, because we're trying to build an ethical supply chain. So I'm doing this on fucking steroid hard mode and all these other things I'm trying to do. It's like, it's not easy. And like, you know, she gets it, you know what I mean? Like there are just some days where I won't be able to come home. There are just some days where, you know, I'm going to film for 16 hours and I will come home and I don't even know if my eyes will be open. Like I'm going to come home and just pass out because it was so intense. And so it's great. Like, and we communicate really well and that kind of stuff. And I'm very happy. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the gist.
Like, did you have to say like, can I subscribe to your heart or something like that? Like, did you?
No, it's actually nice though, because one thing I've found is, because we're not robots, you do have to take time off, even though I hate that. You can't work all the time. And so I found that in the past, I would just like, if I went 8 days, like really hard or 9 days, like sometimes I could get it to 10 or 12 in a row. I would just like wake up and just feel like shit and crash. And I need to like watch an anime or something to like decompress and blah, blah. But I found like if I consistently spend time with my girlfriend, I don't like boil up to this point where I'm so stressed and I need to crash. I'm losing my mind. I'm borderline going to have a mental breakdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of navigate it a little bit
yeah,
better.
it's like, you know, because then I get these like decompression shots when I hang out with her like more consistently, because it's like, you know, when you just go home alone to an empty bed, it's like, what do you do besides just sit there and think about work? But if you have this beautiful woman, you're like, oh, this is cool. Let's talk about things. And it's like, helps you like take your mind off work. So I've noticed that's been a good benefit, is like, I just don't have like borderline mental breakdowns as often.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, connections. Sometimes you got to connect with people to put you in a little bit better place. And yeah, it's important. Jimmy, thanks so much, man. Thanks for spending time, dude. I'm definitely a fan. I'd love to chat again sometime about business or something. And, you know, it's funny. You meet people. Sometimes you think they're heroes or they're great. And sometimes once you learn about them, it's kind of like whatever, you know, they were better to see from afar.
I'm sorry that I was better from afar to let you down.
No.
Maybe next time.
I was going to say, that's not the case, man. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to see Beast games.
Are you ever doing a show in North Carolina?
If they're children or adults, yeah, man, we'll come over there for sure. I'll invite you.
Yeah, if you do a show in North Carolina, we'll be there.
I'll invite you to one. Thanks so much for all the content and entertainment. I'm excited to see what you do in the future, man. I think you inspire a lot of people.
Stop being so nice. I hate getting compliments.
No, but I think it's just like anything is possible. I agree. I hate fucking getting them. That's why I'm giving them to you.
I'm going to start complimenting you. This podcast was amazing. You had great questions. It was very free flowing. I thought, you know, sometimes you just go on a podcast and it's an absolute shit show, but this one wasn't. And I think you're very exceptional at what you do. And
hey, watch your
vernacular
mouth, all right?
is very good. And I just really loved your shoes and how you did things. And I thought your squad was pretty good. They're very welcoming. You made sure I had 2 cans of Celsius. That was awesome. And just all around a good environment and everything.
Thanks, man. Well, we'll see about that. MrBeast.
Am I the only one? All right, to close it on this, am I the only one that feels uncomfortable when people talk about you like that?
Oh, I can't. It makes me really uncomfortable. I can't wait for them to get done saying something nice.
And I've had to train myself to just sit there and take it, because I used to always change the subject and it would make it even more uncomfortable and kind of awkward. So now I've just like practiced like doing this. But because before I noticed my default would always just be people start complimenting and I just change the subject instantly.
Yeah, me too. I'll be like, oh, that's sweet of you to say we should go outdoors. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, or I'd be like, yeah, interesting. Anyways, so.
Yeah. Oh, it's very sweet of you. I was wondering the other day if the Jets will win anything this year. And people were like, what are we even, you know? But yeah, it's gotten, sometimes you navigate it a little bit better as time goes on, you know?
Is this brand also paying?
Nope. I just like their water.
Wait, so Celsius had to pay, but these guys got it for free.
Yeah. But we'd like to get a water. My goal one day is to make a water.
Let's see if that makes it in.
This is my goal, to make a water, right? I want to have a wellness facility for people who are recovering from addiction, right?
Okay.
And it's on land that has an aquifer so they can access water.
Yeah.
And the people that are getting well are helping to create like
so you employ the people with addiction so you get them out. Yeah.
Yep. And then the water gets sold and the money goes to the facility.
Yeah.
So it's like, because so many people have been ruined by addiction that our government supported, right? Or didn't really combat, like with the opioid epidemic. So I'm like, well, how do you beat them? And you get something everybody needs that's clean for people, which is water. And then every time they buy it, they're helping somebody get clean, you know?
Or what if you give them drugs and they go sell drugs and then they just put their addiction to good use?
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd do better. Because they probably know the drug landscape and other addicts really well. So.
Oh, that's a good point. You're kind of putting them in a whole new territory.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like just lean into what they're good at. They're a drug addict. Just let them sell drugs.
You know what? We'll try both. You know?
Okay.
And we'll get some.
All right. He's been trying to end this for like 5 minutes. All right. Bye.
Thanks.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be